What's going on, everybody? We are going to get started with some Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, The North, session 3. So, this session isn't really going to be a Christmas themed game, but it's going to have elements in honor of the fact that obviously tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Excuse me, followed by Tuesday being Christmas Day. So I've asked the players to all give me a something that their characters would wish for Christmas. In today's session, we'll determine whether they are good or bad, and whether or not they have earned their gifts. So anyway, let's open up the game here and get everybody else in the chat. Everyone could say hello. And then we'll go from there. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Everybody say hello to the wonderful stream.
Hello.
Hello, wonderful stream.
You called it wonderful. All right. So, today's session is going to start off kind of like a half day ahead of where you guys ended last time. So your last session, you guys ended on top of that hill, where you were essentially you had followed that man up there, and he kind of showed you how, I guess, mysteriously horrible things appear to be from that vantage point. Darkness basically just overcame literally everything. I mean, you saw no light at all other than one glowing spot kind of off in the distance. But today's session is going to be more about how your characters handle situations. And while the North is now in disarray, with evil hiding under every snowdrift, behind every tree, and under every rock, it's great to remember this time of the year in particular. In the world of Cunroth all over, mages and citizens alike are decorating their homes and towns, suspending flaming lanterns, which is the custom, above every bridge, every door, and every archway, lighting the way for the saint of the harvest to bring goods in the wintertime to all those who deserve it. Women, children, everybody everywhere. The lanterns serve a dual purpose, though, because this time of the year, it's also meant to kind of light the towns in hopes of keeping the dark spirits that also plague the lands away, kind of shunning the darkness from all the corners of the town. These suspended flames kind of float in place, kind of giving all of those who move about a sense of calm at this time of the year. So even though your caravan settled in one of the now most mysterious, ominous, and potentially dangerous locations in all of the land of Cunroth, it changes nothing for today, as today is the beginning of that same holiday. All over the walls have already been suspended above, and kind of smiles have ran across the faces of most of the guards as they feel a little bit better about this relaxing holiday that is coming to be. Over every tent, over every door, a candle kind of floats mysteriously in place, kind of keeping light lit. The wick and the wax of the candle just enough to last to essentially the next morning, where it will then burn out, and then you move on from there. So, while you are expecting the saint to make its pass at the camp itself, as you have expected, if you believe in such things anyway, sadly your group has been tasked with a mission of great importance. You see, nearby, an evil monstrosity has been seen, mostly just shadows and quick glimpses here and there. It was seen lurking outside of an old wolf den, has been stealing trapped prey from hunters, and recently has even attacked a few caravan workers that got kind of too deep into the forest and kind of ventured too closely to this cave. Last night when everyone was awake, this beast actually managed to sneak and break its way through the main gate and steal more than a few boxes of supplies. Reasons being are unknown. As of right now, the feast that is supposed to accompany today cannot happen unless these supplies are taken back or somehow returned. A task you have been assigned to take care of. One way or another, you were told to take care of this beast and recover what you can. But be warned, this creature seems to operate with some form of intelligence. You have been handed a map of the location, but it is currently the middle of the day, and you guys are kind of mulling about the camp, maybe even marveling at the new decorations that have suddenly been put up overnight. And this is where I'll leave it to you guys.
Since we jumped on a bit, can I change some of my spells?
Yeah, anything you
'Cause
guys
I
would have
need-
done while, it's considered a long rest, of course. So anything you guys would have done in that meantime, we can kind of go back and make sure that gets handled. So.
Okay. Go.
During this time period, Saoirse probably wants to do a little more mapping of the area.
Does my cat think that if it gets food back, I would actually be able to eat some of it?
Okay, so with the mapping, Saoirse would have been able to get the assistance of like some of the local guards, possibly to help you kind of like walk out and place more of your points of interest, or like you were kind of marking off different areas and trying to keep track of things. So you definitely would have been provided the supplies. What you would have discovered is essentially forest. You did see a couple old signposts, however, that pointed north farther, listing off the names of two different towns. It's kind of like a broken down sign. One of it said HAAF, and the other one said Lordim, Lordim, which are the two former kind of main locations that were part of the Frostfall path heading north. Like the two hubs, I guess you could say, that you would run into.
Half Lordy. Okay.
Yep. Here, I'll type them out too, just so you have the spelling. And then as far as the food, your cat would be well aware of the fact that, the salted meats and stuff that were brought north were part of this holiday feast for a reason. That getting these specially prepared foods back to celebrate this this holiday in the lands, you would definitely get some of it.
Oh, my cooking! Maybe doing inventory to find out exactly what was stolen.
You can.
I forgot that you're the cook.
Yep. So, Brew would realize very quickly that nearly all of the special meats, almost all of the what would you call it? Like the special vegetables and fruits that are, generally people only buy for this holiday, like they're all gone. All of those special ingredients that were used to prepare this feast for this harvest feast for this holiday are no longer in the camp.
All the beets, all the meats, even the roast beast.
Gone. Even the special candies from far off into the desert lands where they're made specially over the hot coals of a flowing lava pit thing. I don't know, I made that up on the spot there.
There's no way to restock any of this.
Can I try to track it down with my nose?
I don't know. Do cats? I mean, you can roll perception check. We'll start with that.
I'm gonna assume that's a no.
Based on the map you guys were handed and the with the location marked on it, and maybe some of the broken tracks you could see, kind of leaving, you get a pretty good idea where it went.
How much was actually, like, was it a large amount of food
Yeah.
that was taken?
So it was enough food for those of you who were left here at this camp to have this meal. Like the rest of it was moved on with the rest of the caravan and the guards, the people who moved on to different locations. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it was essentially like a refrigerator box size like box of prepared food, and then like a couple smaller containers with like fruits and vegetables, things like that.
I would like to try and figure out where this went, considering the amount of food that it was carrying, just in the off chance that it was like dropping pieces of it?
Yeah, you can I guess it would be investigation while you guys walk the path, maybe? You're just trying to like
Oh, this will just poorly. Or
Oh.
I can nat 20 it.
or that. So yeah, you as Brew realizes, oh no, my food, like you said a second ago, like, oh no, my food. You kind of look at the corner up here, like right here, like on the corner of like the entrance, and you see like one of these this purple. It's like this purple fruit, and it's specially hollowed out, and like its seeds are deliciously edible, but like the fruit part itself is used as a like a decoration at the table for this feast. And you see one of those laying there in the snow, like partly covered in dirt and snow. And it was clearly dropped when whatever it was made the escape.
He zeroes in on it, runs over to it, picks it up, and starts like sniffing and like licking it to see how old it is.
I mean, we know when they were taken.
Brew, it is kind of still fresh. The coldness of the air and the snow kind of preserved it a little bit. But as of right now, the temperature of that fruit is way too cold. And based on your cooking knowledge, it's going to go sour pretty soon.
He looks around and then eats it quickly.
You see all of us staring at you as you eat the little.
It went this way.
Okay.
I mean,
He has a determined look in his eye. I can see it. We should follow him.
Sounds good.
I don't even know why I'm on this trip. Not exactly diplomatic, I don't think.
It's the best matic.
All right. So
What is this
go ahead.
festive season known as?
Honestly, I couldn't come up with a name. I spent so much time thinking of a name for what it would be
It's
called.
an assault on Festivus.
I don't know. What do you want to Festivus? Is that already used somewhere else? I don't know. Let's call it.
It's from Seinfeld.
Is that what that's from?
reference.
Oh, I hadn't watched Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's call it. I don't know. What do you guys come up with a name? I'll let you guys name it.
Is it on the winter solstice?
Yeah. So here, I'll tell you a little bit of a backstory. It's meant to celebrate a time when the gods who are part of like the summer months, the harvest months, they basically made a decision at some point to intervene during the early settlement eras when almost all of Kunroth was frozen over from a cataclysm that happened. And these like harvest gods appeared at a time when they should not have been, and they gave food to like the people, and they found a way to help everyone survive, I guess you could say. That's like the believed story. So every year at this time, this is like the feast that celebrates that, like in honor of them. So it was, I don't remember. It's not really known
The
which
Feast of
gods.
the
but-
Deliverance.
Deliverance. There, I like that. Okay, there we go. The Feast of the Deliverance. I gotta write that down. Perfect. So yes, the Feast of the Deliverance.
I should write that down too.
I need to write that down. Where's the human I can claw?
That
I think
reminds
you're
me.
riding one.
Are you still riding in my bag?
No, you're
Okay.
not tall enough.
Harsh.
Ooh. All right, so you guys heading off to the X marks the spot.
Kitty cat
Yeah.
go meow meow meow.
Yes.
Okay. Brew. Not Brew. Big Red rather has some things he has to handle, since Z's not in the session currently. We're gonna he says he'll tag along. He'll be there when he can. So he's got a couple things he has to tidy up around the camp here. So the rest of you five are gonna head off without him for now. At that, you guys begin your journey. following kind of like the pretty obvious trail from the night before, well, to Brew anyway, and even the cat possibly, as you find like the orange orange juice fruit that is used to make the special rum that is drank in honor of the Feast of Deliverance. And you guys are finding like pieces of food, and you realize that one of the boxes pretty much had ripped itself open at some point, and you've essentially picked up almost an entire crate's worth of fruits and vegetables as you've kind of like followed this path to wherever this culprit took these things. Eventually, and hang on, let me pull out your guys' tokens. 1 second.
Brew is occasionally eating one.
Now I have a question. Are you sharing it all?
He's got them. He's like holding them in his like big arms, and then he's just occasionally like grabbing one and eating it when nobody's looking. He'll give you one if you ask for it.
Oh, Saoirse definitely asked for one.
He just holds them out. They're probably still slightly covered in snow and or dirt.
Okay. Saoirse takes it and whistles a short tune and prestidigitations away the dirt.
Oh, are you a cook too?
Oh, no, I'm an archaeologist.
You should be. That would be so useful.
Well, I'm terrible at cooking, is the thing.
You should. That would be so
Ah!
useful.
I'm somewhat good at it.
Fighting a dragon.
A dragon? Ooh, an ogre.
Kitty cat grew. I'm as tall as everyone.
Oh, I never did save that.
Max, I'm assuming you didn't mean to drag 2 of my tokens on and put one of them in the chamber with that.
Oh, Jesus. Nope. I was wondering why that was lit up.
Your plan is ruined.
Foiled.
Ha
What's funny is that's the one thing I didn't put on the GM layer as well. So, like, anyway, you don't even know what it is. Looks are deceiving. Oh, I forgot a layer of dynamic lighting too. Hang on, let me draw this. This isn't revealing anything, but the map won't make sense. Okay, so as you guys approach, one of the main things that you notice as you approach this like wolf's lair is right out in front is a frozen, dead ogre, just kind of sprawled amongst the rocks. Clearly has been there for a while.
Do ogres normally freeze? Because that's... I thought they were hardier than that.
I
Yes,
would
they are.
I would like to see how it died. That'd be investigation.
Yes.
Considering I can't see, can I light a torch?
Yes,
Correct
it
for a
is.
cat.
It's actually daylight outside, but in the cave it's dark. So, because I can't do both with lighting yet, just bring a torch out and then, yeah, you'll be okay. It looks like it died because something killed it.
Died because something killed it?
Yep, that's what Mr. Fluffy Paws is able to determine with his investigation check.
Makes sense.
Hey, it rules out natural causes.
Nope, that would have been something that killed it.
Mm-hmm.
What are your guys' passive
the
perception
blood.
again?
13 for mine.
Mine 14.
12.
I forget, where is it?
14.
You have to actually turn on the passive.
Oh, 15.
There you go.
Okay. The 15, the 14, and the 13 I heard. You guys would be aware off to the left. The cave entrance is clearly right in front of you, but off to the left you notice I guess you could say like a weird indent where it looks like small rocks had been shuffled out into the opening with like a little bit of like a wall kind of holding up in front of there. Like a weekend wall, I guess you could say.
Where does the food trail lead?
The food trail leads right into the cave right here.
Brew is going that way.
Brew, wait up. It may be a smarter idea to catch whoever's inside, since they obviously killed an ogre. It might be better to take them by surprise. So I suggest we go to the weakened wall over there. I can probably unleash the stone and make it weaken, and we can go inside.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I mean, none of this feels particularly festive. Do you have another
Indeed.
of those fruits?
Brew hands her one.
That's a little better.
As you eat it, you feel remarkably better, as like the sugary like how it's prepared and stored and how it's even grown is all based upon this holiday.
Every minute wasted is food destroyed and ruined.
So what exactly are we looking at, Max?
It looks like it's a wall that's only there because pebbles and rocks have been like shuffled out and then kind of like stacked up.
I still can't see anything.
I was gonna say, are we
Oh,
supposed to be
hang
able
on.
to see into it?
No, not yet. You have to
Uh,
yeah, hang on. Can
Oh,
you
I
see
lit a
nothing at
torch.
all?
Yeah, I don't see
uh,
anything.
There's a
line right
wall. Yeah.
Yep, hang on. Let me take care of the man who can't see anything at all.
Oh yeah. Poor Z. He still hasn't his token on.
Oh, is he here? Oh,
Yeah.
he is here. I didn't bring his token out. Okay, hang on. Let me take care of Wesley. Is that better?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's a human.
As you guys are kind of over there, Big Red comes thumping up. Poo, 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 poo.
There you are.
Oh,
Oh, Wesley,
no,
hey,
Wesley.
stop there then. If you're running inside,
Oh.
stay there.
Wait, no, I thought they went inside. I was confused.
Oh, the other side.
it's like, well, there he goes.
And Wesley's dead. Oh, wow, this is a really cool cave, and he's dead. All right. The wall looks like it kind of just, it can possibly just be pushed in, just with a strength check, though.
Now, I have a question. Would the
Okay.
wall be considered loose soil?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll say yeah.
I can move it then. Honk.
You're kind of like gonna pick it all up and kind of move it off to the side.
Yup.
Perfect.
I can excavate it or push it in.
Oh, it actually even says stone.
What are you gonna do then? You gonna just kind of
Loose
send it
stone.
all flying
Then-
inside, or are you gonna kind of move it all?
Gently, since I'm trying to hold a surprise.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try and push it all back.
As the wall gets pushed in, the smell of the cave kind of like wafts out towards you guys into like the cool air, and it smells musky and dirty. And as you kind of approach the entrance, you can hear the sounds of dripping water and like a howling wind that somehow is winding its way somewhere inside the cave.
Hey, can anyone else see in the dark?
Yep.
Right here.
Okay,
No.
excellent.
Brew would like to smell for the sweet scent of the fruits.
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
$13.
You while you're on the trail pretty well, you realize that over here, all you smell is like gross animal cavey smells. No fruit to be found.
He looks a little disappointed. He'll carefully move.
I'll follow.
As you enter in, you have to kind of squeeze past the stone there, which is just big enough for maybe like an animal to kind of fit through. You guys all kind of wedge your way past, and you immediately come up to a chasm. As your toes kind of like balance precariously on the edge, you realize that there's a tent on the other side of this chasm. But in order to get to that tent, you'll have to kind of shimmy your way across between the wall and an endless drop that sits before you.
Can I just walk across? Since I'm only literally 8 inches long and a cat.
You'd think I would have seen this coming.
I don't know. There's some pretty acrobatically challenged cats.
All right, here we go. This is what we're gonna do. You can roll. No, you're really small. Okay, you can just walk across.
Acrobatics check at a DC 5.
My size is
It's basically
teeny.
if you just breathe wrong, you accidentally trip on your own self as you run forward.
No.
What do you want the rest of us to roll?
I'm gonna roll and see if a rock falls, which scares the cat, which has him jump straight up in the air for no damn reason. You like how cats do that when they scare the crap out of them?
I was gonna say I could do that. I could do that myself. I just put some fruit behind him.
Yeah, a cucumber. All right, so the rest of you, if you want to shimmy past, you'll have to roll a acrobatic or not the strength one. I always mix them up. Acrobatics, yeah, right? That's dexterity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to roll that check in order to get past. Jesus.
Our archaeologist does like a pirouette across the chasm.
She's like, I saw a skeleton once that
Oh
was in
my
this
gosh,
pose.
we all rolled well.
Wow. One of you were supposed to fall into the cave and die. What the hell? Okay. That's fine. You guys can all live.
We're adventurers.
Well, no.
Yes, Saoirse just walks across.
Should we be able to see over here?
Nope. You're in like a cave within a cave, I guess you could say. Right now. We'll discuss the rest in a moment. So in this tent, as you guys all kind of shuffle your way past, you hear the sound of a I guess you could say dog dreaming from within the tents.
We send the cat in.
I poof up because it's a dog.
Cursed. Feline in me.
Hey, Saoirse goes forward to investigate.
Oh, I'm in a wall. I'm in another wall.
As you guys all bump into each other, risking knocking each other into the chasm below. Saoirse kind of moves forward and kind of peers into the tent, and inside there are in fact 2, I guess you could say, child wolves.
Puppies?
What do you mean, child?
Yeah, we'll say puppy. Well, they're not like puppies. They're not like tiny. I don't know. They're like
Okay,
adolescent, I guess.
adolescent.
Yeah, adolescent. Yeah.
They're so cute. Wait, why are they in a tent?
Mhm.
Possibly domesticated?
By who?
Whoever set up the tent.
Well, I mean, that doesn't help.
We don't have much info here.
Hey,
What else is in the tent? Like, what kind of bedspread are there pots and pans? What kind of living conditions is it?
Are you up there with Saoirse kind of like looking around? Are you in the tent, or are you just kind of looking from like her feet?
If I was in the tent, I would be killing these wolves. So I'm outside the tent.
Okay, so like what you can kind of perceive from outside, just like in general looking, you notice that there is in fact like a couple bedrolls that are now beyond, like they're old. Like you could see cloth though, as if somebody put them there. And these wolves obviously, and over time, have kind of like made it into their own little like nest to like to sleep in. This tent though is largely unscathed because it's clearly been in this cave for quite a while. You know, dust rests on all the edges of it. It's had rocks fall, but then bounce off the sides. It was a well-manufactured, well-constructed tent within this cave.
Hey, Brew,
Yeah.
did you find any meat?
Did I find any what?
Any meat in the stuff that dropped?
Did I find any meat packs?
No, no meat yet.
Only fruits and vegetables.
I have rations. Would that include like jerky or something?
Yeah, the rations can be anything that your character would be eating. Whatever she
Mostly.
normally eats.
Mostly nuts and, well, you know, like trail mix bars or something like that, but probably also some jerky. So she's gonna rip off 2 pieces of jerky and attempt to approach the wolves.
Are you gonna wake them up?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you kind of walk forward, the crunching of the rocks underneath your feet, they kind of like wake up and kind of like start like all groggily, and one like stretches out its paws like real big and kind of like he has this big yawn and kind of like looks up at you. and it just kind of like stares. Doesn't really react.
As Saoirse holds out the meat in her palm, I'll make an animal handling check.
Yep. So at first, like the both of the dogs kind of like, or wolves rather, kind of like slink back a little bit. They don't want to, and then the one kind of starts sniffing at you, and like it moves a little bit closer and a little bit closer and a little bit closer, and it goes to like nip at like the jerky in your hand, and the other wolf kind of like tackles it, and they both kind of start wrestling inside the tent, and
Oh
then
my god, that's so cute.
the one that was at first not going for the jerky kind of like hops forward and kind of like grabs the jerky out of your hand, and they both kind of like gnaw on it and chew on it and like begin to eat
Aw.
it.
Saoirse attempts to pet one of them.
While they're eating, you're able to.
Okay. Gonna
Yeah,
roll another
absolutely.
animal handling
Yeah,
check.
they don't react.
Oh, who left you two all alone? Oh, they're so cute. Okay. I don't know the cat is sentient. So I'm going to ignore the cat's likely dislike and inquire with the party whether or not this would be absolutely irresponsible to take these with us.
Well, northern wolves are quite a valuable resource from what I'm told. At least in the history books it is. They're definitely an asset if we have a few years here.
Yes. The cat weighs in. Okay, Saoirse does try to pick them up.
Be careful, they probably haven't met with other humans. Well,
Yeah, I don't know if
sentient
it's a
creatures.
good idea.
Come on, rabies roll.
So
Oh, no.
14.
you go to pick them up, and maybe the first one you reach for, and it kind of like yep, and like hops like farther back into the tent. Like maybe you go to grab the second one, just kind of like trying to wrangle them, kind of like scoop them up, and you're able to get your hands on the second one, and it doesn't attack you, but like you put your hand like under its chest to kind of like scoop it up in your hand, and it nips at your wrist and your finger and starts biting and gnawing and trying to like get away from your hand.
Okay, Saoirse lets it go.
Yep, and it kind of like plops itself back down and just kind of like stares at you, and it kind of just tackles its like sibling like in the back of the tent.
Oh, they're so cute. Okay. I mean, clearly this isn't anyone's tent, or isn't currently. It's been here forever.
Mhm.
gonna try and pick one up again.
Okay, roll another animal handling. Oh, you just got that. So yeah, you go to scoop up the wolf again. You kind of like reach in and kind of grab like the scruff of one of them, and then like kind of pet it with the other hand, and you kind of let it go and kind of scoop it up, and it just kind of like melds itself into you as you scoop it, and then like its sibling kind of like runs up to you and kind of like hops, like trying to like get at its sibling. So you pick up that one too, and they both kind of like nuzzle against each other, but in your arms.
Oh, that's just precious. Okay, I'm taking them with us.
Uh,
So-
I assume you don't want to eat those.
no. They're adorable.
I'm more concerned as to where the parents are.
Yes, from what we heard, the parents are probably the ones stole the food, but they're not here.
I don't think so. I mean, they took boxes. Wolves can't carry boxes.
I heard wolves were attacking it, and supposedly smart wolves at that.
I mean, Saoirse puts them
Well,
back down. Says, if we do not find any other wolves, I am coming back for them.
yeah, we need to find supplies, then maybe we can come back for these. Anyways,
Okay, moving on.
As you place the wolves back down, a bunch of rocks kind of like down like the side, and those of you who kind of look up see like something, because the ceiling is very, very high. You see something just kind of like move out of the edges of your vision and the edges of the flickering light, kind of almost as if it I guess moved its way away from you guys, and the wolves
Nope.
kind of like hop back into the tent.
How far up is it?
You guys are essentially under a mountain, very, very high.
So I'm assuming out higher than 60 feet.
Yes, much higher than 60 feet.
Ain't no mountain high, ain't no mountain low.
I don't think they're the only
Ain't no
ones in
monster
here.
far enough.
keep me away from you now, child. Now,
Oh, and then the last thing, as you guys are kind of moving your way past,
when does it get it going?
you realize. Oh wait,
I assume
actually,
we can just get back across.
yeah, yeah, you guys are gonna go back across. We'll leave it at that.
Shh, don't worry about it.
Back on the trail again.
Approaching the front of the cave, it is very familiar.
Only one way forward. Let's do this. People good with weaponry, go on ahead.
Sure.
All right, shoulder.
Da-dun, da-da, 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 da-da.
As you move your way forward, you come up to another hollowing, windy noise of a tunnel. As you get closer and closer and closer, you see two large pillars kind of protruding from the center of this bottomless chasm. And resting sleepily on top is a massive tiger with two large fangs that kind of protrude from its top of its mouth. In other terms, it appears to be a saber-toothed tiger. And as you guys kind of haphazardly just kind of, Pink Panther your way through this tunnel, it opens its eyes, laying on its side, and just kind of stares at you guys. It quickly jumps to its feet and just kind of stares.
Is it male or female? As a cat, I think I know this.
We'll say it's male.
Instant dislike. I want to kill this bastard.
That makes sense.
And yes, I would like to talk to it in cat.
Let me see. How do
Feline.
you speak cat?
A lot of meows and posturing mostly.
Okay, hang on a second.
Yowling. Just
Yeah, it's
yowling.
more body language.
I just want to see what it says for language for this thing. It doesn't say anything.
I
You
would
can
assume it'd be the equivalent of speak with beasts, wouldn't it?
well, it doesn't have that, and neither does the cat. But what we'll do is we'll say you can roll an animal handling to attempt to communicate in feline. Do it with advantage because you are feline.
Okay, let's see here. Animal handling. Got a 13.
So it cocks its head to the side and then just kind of like begins sniffing towards you, like, and then like it just does like a huge cat stretch, and it just kind of like walks in a circle and kind of stares at you guys and just kind of like a growling kind of in place. It eventually hops over to this stone here, it's like a couple feet higher than the other one. It kind of just like hops up, kind of revealing how large and strong this animal actually is.
No, you stay over there.
I would like to keep talking to it, and I'm going to say that its mother was a bitch.
So essentially you're making threatening animal noises towards it in an insulting way.
21.
I don't know if you managed to convey the actual thought to it, because this animal doesn't appear sentient, but I mean, you've successfully aggravated the saber-toothed tiger. But it mostly, it just growls in place.
Can you shut that damn cat up, please?
I am now just a giant fluff ball, and I'm hissing and growling at it back.
Anybody touches you and you lash at it.
Brew looks down at this scene and he's like, bed cat. He's like poking him with his foot. Stop that.
I'm on your shoulder, aren't I?
I don't know where the
No,
hell
you got down. I thought I assumed you were walking at this point, but I guess you could be.
As
when
Saoirse pours some water from her
Whatever.
water skin into her palm and flicks it. No, bad.
You know, unless it touches my nose, I probably can't feel it, right?
It's a fair amount of water.
It's just fluff.
She just trenches the cat.
Stop it, cat. Jesus.
Don't antagonize the thing that's like 10 times bigger than you.
I'm still hissing at this damn thing.
Okay, I'm gonna swat it. I'm gonna swat the cat in the face if it doesn't stop. I'm just gonna like swat at its nose.
Stop.
I would
You're
like
gonna
to
like
dodge
boop it?
this. I would like to dodge it.
Because it's non-threatening. Why don't you roll a dexterity saving throw against like a athletics check? Yeah,
my
so
God.
the cat, like, you're all distracted. Mr. Fluffy Paws, you're all distracted, and all of a sudden you get just like boop, like just right on your nose, just like, and Wesley's like knock it off or whatever he was saying, right? Like, and you just get like bopped on the nose.
With
I
a roll
just
of
look up
newspaper.
at him, just completely dazed, just like, what the hell?
I'm
Stop.
working here.
Stop antagonizing the fucking tiger.
And
We're
as
gonna
if,
keep moving forward while keeping an eye on this saber tooth.
and while you were all focused on Fluffy Paws, you noticed the tiger just went back to sitting down in place, just kind of like watching you guys walk past.
Okay, this place is weird with animals.
As Brew walks by, he's just like, if you got a problem with that one, we're just gonna go this way, and you two work it out.
The
Why do we
tiger
keep
almost
talking to the
nods.
cat?
So she doesn't know what it's saying. That's funny.
He's making like hand motions, like pointing to the cat and the tiger, and then he's like doing something like a fighting motion with his hand.
Hey Max, how cold is it out?
Excuse me. Outside of the cave, it's like probably 15 degrees or colder. Around there.
Okay.
Within the cave,
And
you're
what
probably
about
at, like,
inside?
like 50, like high 50s probably. It's pretty warm in here.
Okay.
Hey, you guys stop moving. Stop moving.
What is that?
Stop moving. You guys uncovered a couple of things at this point. Oh, I forgot to put dynamic lighting around the thing. Oh yeah, I did. Hang on a minute. Let me fix that real quick.
Dynamic light. It's working.
These are big pillars. Wesley, did you notice that in the top left corner, the top right corner?
What?
Okay, never mind. If you don't notice it, then you don't notice it.
Oh, I notice it.
So, Wesley, as you kind of like make your way around that like large stone, you notice in the corner there a random treasure chest that seems to be, it almost looks as though it was carved out of the wall itself. Like it was somehow sealed within stone and someone had broken it away, revealing these pieces, revealing this chest. Brew, as you're around the corner, first thing you noticed hovering in the air is a massive creature with a large singular eye and tentacles sprouting off of it, revealing many other eyes, kind of like all kind of gazing towards you.
Do I know what this thing is?
Have you ever encountered anything like this before in your travels?
Probably not. That doesn't mean I wouldn't have heard of it.
You can
though.
roll a history check.
I will attempt to do so. As soon as I can find it, there it is. It's big, it's ugly, and it scares me.
You're pretty
he
sure
freezes in motion.
you can't eat it. Also, I forgot to mention, as you guys left the saber-toothed tiger area, again, the sound of trickling rocks can be heard, kind of falling down part of the wall. And if any of you were to kind of quickly look up, just out of your view, you would see something kind of slink off into the darkness.
What does it look like that slinks off?
A shadow. Like all of your sins bundled up into a creature on this auspicious feast of deliverance night. Anyway, you guys.
But all cats do is sin.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Be glad you're not a black cat.
Don't you do it, Wesley.
Don't you dare.
Don't do it.
Open it. Let there be a dragon
Think about
inside.
it. Think about
Does
it
it-
if it's a mimic.
Legendary
look
dragon
trapped?
box.
Does it look
Mimic.
trapped?
Mimic.
You can roll an investigation check if you'd like to examine it.
Come on, green dragon.
That's funny.
So looking it
Natural.
over,
The only thing that saved his life.
looking it over, you realize that this chest has been somehow sealed within this this stone, almost in like a natural way. It appears somehow. However, based on your mechanical knowledge, this chest seems to just be a regular old chest. And actually, looking at it, there isn't even a lock on it. It's just kind of like a latch that just kind of like falls over the bolt at the bottom of it, just kind of like holds the lid down. There's nothing even latching in place. So,
Quick,
based on
open
your
it.
investigation, this chest should open right up.
Can I poke at it with my sword?
You absolutely can. How hard do you poke?
Like a good stab.
Yeah, you stab into like a leathery part of the exposed lid there, and you succeed in ripping the leather, exposing like a hardened wood with like metal rivets underneath it. Kind of the leather was kind of hiding the sturdy construction part.
Okay then. I'll open it.
Okay,
Oh no.
hold on a minute.
I heard that okay.
What saving throw? What kind of saving throw I gotta make here?
None.
Oh,
None of them
It's an
mimic
It's
with
just
mouth.
instant
It
death.
grows giant
Yeah, it's
arms
just-
and crushes you.
Yeah, you're just straight dead. Here, I'm gonna post a picture for you guys.
If I was if I was guy looking at this thing, I probably would know. I'm lore master, baby.
I mean, I did ask for a backup character sheet.
So go to the North chat and Discord.
What is that?
Oh,
It's just a
no.
spider.
Nope.
We can kill it.
You're done. You're done, son.
Gosh, definition of Christmas nightmare.
So as you
Well,
open the
that's
chest,
horrifying.
you open the
No.
chest, you hear this weird chittering sound, and out from the darkness of the chest, like this head pops up at you and looks, and these furry arms kind of come out, and it currently holds on to a dagger, and it kind of like reaches down and picks up another one. It kind of slowly stands up and stares at you. It's like hands kind of like grabbing in place like a spider's would, and like its teeth kind of like just staring at you, and it just glares at you. It has the features of an elf in some weird way, but yet it resembles more of like a drow creation, or maybe an insect altogether, and it smells like a putrefied. I want to mimic this, just fucking deck me. What the hell? Anyway, the picture is funny. And it just glares at you, just staring.
I like that picture. Can I just kneel down and kind of look at it and go, hello?
Yeah, you guys are talking to everything. Hang on. It makes this like guttural sound back at you.
Okay. I'll try again in giant.
It cowers a little bit in fear.
Okay.
Close talk.
I'll just kind of raise my hands, but okay, it's okay.
It raises
No,
all
I'll
four
just-
of its hands.
Can I offer it some rations? A little bit of food.
Absolutely, you can.
I do that. Kind of hold out some jerky.
And it quickly grabs like your hand and like pulls your hand towards its mouth. And one of its other hands like kind of reach down and it grabs the jerky and kind of like places it in its pincers in its mouth. Like it opens its mouth and those pincers like kind of come out, grab the food, and they go back into its mouth.
That is terrifying.
Okay.
Then it releases your hand and it kind of like haphazard, like the dagger, like it kind of waves at you to get you to back up, like just kind of like, you know, back up. I think you're too close
Okay.
now.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go this way. All right.
And as you walk away, it hops out and moves up behind you.
Oh, okay. You're following me now.
You
It's
have a
great.
new friend.
Oh, okay. Stay. It's good distance here. All right.
Now it's following you.
Yeah, I made a new friend.
So the rest of
What
you would
is
see
that?
you would
I
see
don't know.
Wesley come around the corner and this creature, like it's like you would see like one hand like on the wall, and like a head come around the corner, and it's just peering at all of you. And it just kind of like saunters over.
Look what I found.
Don't you see this thing to the south?
See what?
He's human, so he probably can't.
He's got a torch.
It
I still
barely
can't see anything.
it barely reaches that far for him.
Okay, maybe I can see something. But I made a new friend.
That's
Nice.
something.
Do I know what that thing is?
Can roll a history check.
It was hiding in it.
What is that thing, Max?
Oh, Zabas already rolled one. My bad. No,
I
we'll
knew
go with
nothing.
Zabas. Yeah, Zabas.
What?
As this thing comes around the
Okay.
corner, you get a good view of it and you instantly recognize it. So it's called I can't even pronounce this damn word. Chitines, Chitines, and you know it to be it's a multi-armed humanoid that serves what would be like the god of like the underground, like the same thing like the drows would kind of worship. Generally they operate in like hives and in colonies, kind of like many of them would like scatter to take over an area, kind of working for the drow and the unnatural origin some of the drows kind of worship. Generally these things are created from captured elves. So if the drow civilization were to take over like it's a civilization from like the above ground of elves, they would try to turn these into these things to use them to do their bidding.
Does anyone speak like Elvish or Undercommon or something?
Yeah, I
I
do. I'm
speak
an
both.
elf.
I can speak cat.
Does the cat say that?
No.
He goes meow.
More like.
It hisses back at the cat.
Whoa. Can
What
you
did-
please get that cat to shut up?
We still don't know whose cat it is.
I don't know. Just make it be quiet. Just hit its face or something.
What is this thing doing while we're all standing here?
It's just floating there. Its eye is just kind of blinking and staring at you.
It's actually watching us.
Yes, without a doubt.
I mean, if,
I pick up the cat and I hold the cat out in front of me towards the floating thing.
It just eyes
Do I
it.
know what the floating thing is?
You can roll a history check. It
I
looks
totally
like
know what this is.
it looks like a
It's
cat
ball
toy.
of yarn.
Yup, it looks like a cat toy
my
you once
gosh.
had, like a floating balloon.
I would like to approach this floating balloon that I
Drop
wish
the
to
cat
pop.
when he squirms.
All right, hang on, no one move. Let me look at something real quick. Okay. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so you're taking the cat to the floating thing, and one of you are talking to the Chitain. The Chitin? How do you pronounce it?
I was not taking the cat anywhere. I dropped the cat as soon as
Oh,
he started
so
to
the cat-
squirm to move
okay.
to it.
All right, Mr. Fluffy paws. You approach this thing, and it just hovers there, staring at you.
Ooh. This will be fun.
what are we looking at?
Okay, I'm going to go
Yeah.
stealth.
You can roll.
I'm actually gonna back up and then go stealth. Yeah, that way
Okay.
there better. 18. And I'm just sticking to the wall.
Wait, what is the cat going?
It's
I mean, if
it's
we
a
can't.
sort of
Go ahead.
it's a sort of elvish zombie, but its spirit is gone. Its body remains. Oh God, this creature is an elvish nightmare. Jesus Christ.
He's kind of cool looking.
Do I feel any killing intent?
No.
I will continue go forward then.
I mean, if that cat gets too annoying, I suppose we can just put him down. If we can't find an owner, I mean, I don't really want to take care of a cat.
Brew waves at the thing. Hello?
It doesn't react at all. This weird,
Guys,
creepy thing keeps
This
following
place
him, though.
is really weird.
Did you take our food? Did he sort of hold out one of the fruits or vegetables?
Why is he approaching me?
You hold out one of the fruits and vegetables?
To the beholder.
Oh, are you up
Even though
there?
I don't know it's beholder. I'm like right. You said it can see me because I haven't moved.
Yeah,
since
okay.
I
No, I was just
came up
making sure
here.
you didn't move. Okay. So as you hold it out, this thing sprints at you.
No, 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 no.
No,
it-
don't.
It tries to grab the fruit. Do you allow it or do you pull back?
How big is this thing?
Yeah, I don't remember. Hang on. It is a small monstrosity.
So
Looks tiny.
I'm 6'6".
Yeah, so it like leaps up at you.
Like, is it trying to jump onto me, or is it
No,
just trying?
it's just leaping up, and like maybe like it bounced off of you if you tried to if you lifted the fruit up away from it.
I hold my hand out. I'm like, no, 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 no.
No, don't. Oh shit. Let him have the food. It's just fruit. Who cares?
That's the whole reason we're out here.
It's just a piece of fruit.
Wait, I chuck it over this way.
It leaps. It attempts to catch it, and then like it can't, and it runs and picks it up. And it just holds it like in its hands, like two of its hands, like at its like belt line, just like holds it there, like keeping it safe. And then it follows Wesley.
It's
It's mine.
imprinted
Yes,
like
it
a
is mine
duck.
now.
How has it not tried to eat the cat yet?
Mr. Fluffy Paws, can you roll a
Oh, what the fuck is that thing?
now he sees it. Roll a perception check. So as you got closer and closer to the floating multi-eyed things, you started to realize that the center eye actually hasn't moved. And as you look at the dead ogre bodies around, you start to understand what these things actually are. And the more you look at it, the more you notice the strange comparison to plant life this floating creature seems to actually be. Kind of indicating to you that maybe it is not what it seems to be.
I don't know what to do with this.
It's up to the cat if it shared that information.
Like hell I did. I don't know I can speak yet.
Yes.
Though
Oh, yeah.
I will cautiously approach this because
God.
I am a cat and I am curious.
That cat is going to get us all fucking killed.
I'm gonna sniff it.
Well, let's see what happens.
What does it smell like? Does it smell like roses?
Actually, yeah, it smells like roses, like tree sap, fungus, plant
Get
life.
away from that.
Yes, that is what it smells like.
Saoirse's going to take a closer look.
I can see it now, so I'm making a history check too.
Okay.
Finally, someone rolled something other than a 6.
Just get me over there. I can give me a 27.
And Saoirse, how do you examine this thing?
I'll roll an investigation check.
Okay.
Does it smell like catnip?
No, it does not.
Okay, I have lost all interest in this thing.
It's not even moving. You can't even chase it.
You could try
I
and
can't
claw
chase it. It doesn't smell good.
Why even bother?
It's a scratching
Exactly.
post.
Saoirse, as you kind of like look it over, you start noticing the textured skin of it resembles that of plant life. And you're able to very easily and quickly figure out that this thing isn't actually a beholder at all.
Is this a topiary beholder?
I'm going to show you what it is. Oh no, where'd my... oh, they're over here.
Ah, it disappeared. Is it a sentient Christmas tree?
It's actually two massive gas spores that have grown somehow out of the ground from the well, these gas spores when they grow from the body of a dead beholder, they take resemblance of a beholder more strongly, but when they grow from other objects, they still resemble a beholder in some way, kind of like mimicking their original creation. So you're able to figure out that this is actually a plant life. It is filled with a gaseous, well, core, I guess, that will explode.
Okay, definitely leaving those alone.
So not what we want.
No, definitely not.
Absolutely not.
What happens if we touch it?
They'll probably explode.
And then what?
And then you'll be injured.
Injured? I mean,
And
does,
possibly infected? I'm not clear on that part.
does it have stuff we can harvest?
Uh,
Don't do it.
I really don't recommend it.
Is it a magical creature?
I'm gonna back up.
Is it a historic creature? Do I got any lore on this,
Wait,
Max?
wait, hey,
Got any lore?
Get away from that thing.
Basically what I've told you would be the indication of what it is, I guess. You know that if it gets punctured at all, it would explode. That's essentially what they are. It's a gas spore.
Okay. Gotcha.
Peek around this corner.
Yeah, don't move anymore.
Me? Okay.
No. Well, you guys can catch up. Those who are kind of moving around the corner.
Hmm.
As you guys kind of leave the gas spores, you hear like a slithering up above you. Rocks kind of fall down.
Can I try and see what it is?
Yeah, this time you see it pretty clear as day. Oh my god. Someone's mic is
Don't
losing
even need
it.
to roll for it?
Nope.
Oh,
It drops down right in front of you. And just kind of lands there.
Do I know what this is?
No, it might be a chicken. Hang on. Roll a history check.
Oh, I was gonna like poke at this thing with my sword.
You can still do that if you want to.
Do we all see it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, roll Wesley, roll an attack.
Oh, dear
Brew
lord.
history, yep. So looking at this
Are you poking the gas spore?
Yeah.
so looking over at this this red kind of drake that it has no wings. It appears that it is essentially a ground being that resembles very strong very strongly.
Oh my
Jesus.
god! Dear lord!
You even crit on you get an 8. Oh my gosh.
It resembles a red dragon almost
Get that.
fluently, other than that it is much stronger looking and much like solid at the base.
okay.
All right, hang
Um,
on. I got to deal with the thing.
This 17 plus. Sorry. Yeah, 17. Yeah.
Okay.
What did it do? Murder your father?
Hang on. Where's the
I'm half expecting a giant
It's fine.
explosion that kills everything in like a 10-foot range.
I'm just waiting for his light to go out, and then we never hear from Wesley again.
It's the second crit I rolled. I've been rolling really well tonight.
Actually, we could do this. Oh no.
Come on, infected by spores.
We'll say you're out of range. Cuz you're on a corner anyway. I need you to roll a DC 15 Constitution saving throw.
And this is where Wesley dies.
Okay, and then
He doesn't save.
you can roll it again.
Oh no.
As the other one blows up.
Roll a second one.
Come on, with your luck, it's gonna be another crit.
The one bad roll is probably the one that might not be the one. Or, you know what I mean? The one bad roll might be the one I needed to be good.
We only see one, or at least I only
Yeah.
see one.
I don't see a
There's a second one.
Oh, it hasn't came through
No,
yet.
my
What'd you roll?
9.
What was the second one that you rolled though?
Oh, yeah, I needed
2.
2.
Yes.
Constitution saving.
Two.
They're both exploding now.
Excuse me. 12.
Oh
Okay.
no. They're both DC 15.
It's my exact hit points.
Oh wow.
Was
that's
that
actually
only
surprising.
one, or was that 2, Max?
That was both. That was both of them at the same
Okay.
time.
What did we
Oh.
learn?
No,
Okay.
insta death.
Maybe. He hasn't said that yet.
Nearly insta. No,
I am glad I was around the corner.
nearly.
Does it hit the spider elf too?
Hang on. Okay. So you're with your crit attack, like you plunge your sword through the center of this thing. It with ease. I mean, you realize how thin the membrane was of this spore. Like you way overexerted yourself. I mean, it would have taken a pinprick. The nail on Cersei's finger would have been enough to like cut this thing open. As she was investigating it, showing how closely you guys all came to being hit by this thing. But it explodes. dealing 25 poison damage to you. And while you are unconscious, you are not dead. The damage wasn't a type that would necessarily kill you. You're just unconscious from maybe hitting your head on the ground after the explosion. But you definitely, I guess you could say, are infected with a disease of some sort. I need you to roll a, what's your constitution score?
14.
I need you to roll 1d12. So what, do you have a +3 in that then? No.
2.
Plus
Plus
2.
Yes, roll 1d12 plus 2.
Oh no. That's how many hours he's got left.
Yup. He's got 10 hours.
Oh!
With the yeah, who rolled the high history check on these things? Did one of you guys do that?
That was me.
Okay. So Big Red, you would understand that after so many hours, it's not, I mean, yes, there's an actual number, but from your history, you know that somebody has between an hour to a day, but roughly a half to a full day before they essentially are completely and totally killed, and it will sprout more of these gas spores on that creature's dead body.
I say that to him.
As he's unconscious.
Okay.
We should probably stabilize him.
But you can fix him, right?
Okay. To solve this,
Not yet, Wesley.
Oh, okay.
Can I do
Okay.
animal handling on the dragon thing?
Hang on, what was Zabos doing?
I'm gonna need a moment as I'm gonna think things through, as in using my wealth of knowledge. Give me a moment. Go ahead.
When it's Saoirse's turn, she would like to speak to the Drake in Draconic.
Okay, and then what was Mr. Fluffy Paws doing as well?
I just want to see if I can't do animal handling.
On the
I don't
dragon?
think it's a drake.
The Drake?
Well, it doesn't have wings, so it's a lizard. It's just a lizard. It's either going to talk to me or I'm going to kill it.
Okay, well, no, I got this, bro. We're good. We're gonna keep going in order. I'll let you know if you guys are doing too much, you know what I mean? And then we'll put in the next person. So right now, you guys hear a boom! And as Wesley explodes the two gas pods, and you hear his body just kind of like across the ground, and you hear this chittering as this other creature kind of like runs up to his side and is like looking him over and trying to like wake him up. And as it explodes and this drake kind of falls down in front of you guys, at first it looked like it had like a very calm expression. And as the explosion goes off, you see it get a snarl kind of go across its face. In Brew, one thing you would notice is actually in its hand, like in a clenched fist, it holds one of the fruits from the boxes. And then Saoirse, you go to speak to it. What do you say?
She says, I wish you greetings and good tidings.
It says back to you in Draconic, good tidings, you come to my home where my master wishes to feast.
Your master?
And it nods.
Who is your master?
I should learn to name things. He is, he says his name. He calls him simply, he just calls him Master.
Okay.
Thank you,
We
Z.
apologize for intruding, but we are looking for some supplies that went missing from our camp. Perhaps there was a misunderstanding?
What's it say?
That's what he calls him. He calls him Master Enulf.
Does that name mean anything?
Oh,
You can roll a history check.
Absolutely.
Oh, yay.
12.
9.
It sounds like an elvish kind of name. You guys all,
Dang it.
you've heard the name before, I guess, but you're not really able to like put together where it's from, who it is, blah 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 blah. You just have heard that it sounds familiar.
I can't even understand the conversation.
No, and actually, Zabas, yeah, you speak Draconic, right?
Yep. Draconic, Elvish, all that.
Yeah. So yeah, you're hearing this conversation from afar as Wesley lays on the ground, turning green.
What's it saying?
Okay, sorry, Sir Shay. Continue.
Is there any chance we could have an audience with him?
It nods.
Saoirse bows and says thank you.
And then Zabas, Big Red, is there anything, or Brew even, is there anything more you guys are doing?
I'm using healing word on Wesley.
Okay.
Saoirse looks back and says, what was that noise?
I think he touched something he wasn't supposed to touch.
Did he touch the... Oh my god, he
Yes.
touched the spores.
Yeah, he did. And Sabus comes up as he saw everything. Yeah. He touched the spores. No. He cleaved it in two. And then, with a massive explosion, as the dang near nucleus of this thing exploded, he almost imploded from that dang thing. Whew. But yeah, he's gonna need some serious treatment from that
Yeah,
spores.
because I mean, they're spores.
Other than some cleric things, I don't know their sort of dealings, but their divine energy should be able to heal him back up. But
Phew.
that's pretty much it on our end. He's screwed otherwise.
Well, that's probably something we would prioritize.
Yeah, he has about an hour to a day.
Oh. Saoirse turns back to the dragon and asks in Draconic, is there any chance you would have anything to treat the effects of the spores?
It says, perhaps now is the time you meet the master.
Yes, that would be very nice, thank you.
And he turns around and he just sprints, like he just runs like cluck around the corner.
Well, where is he going? He's got some of the fruit.
We should follow him. And Saoirse
Mm.
goes.
As you guys
Where
kind of
exactly did he?
slink your way around the corner, it's a
Did I get
very,
revived?
very tight fit. What?
Yeah, I revived you with 3 hit points.
So in other words, it's a comfy little walk.
Yeah, comfy little walk for the cat.
Bruce starts to go around the corner and then stops. Don't poke any more stuff.
I
It keeps
didn't poke
going.
him.
And don't you touch any of us.
What? We're not.
As you guys all kind of funnel into the room,
Uh,
you're hit with the sight of a neatly decorated table, all completely covered with all of the food and the wares. In the corners, you see the boxes kind of opened up that were taken from the town. You guys all have room to push yourselves in there. Just kind of hang out at the end of the table for right now. It's kind of like get your tokens in so you guys can all kind of see.
I'd like to jump on the table.
Just wait here for a second. Let me finish, talking. Okay, so as you guys kind of all walk in, you're hit with like the smell and the sights, and this like area of the cave seems to be a little bit cleaner and neater, as if it's been like dusted and taken care of. On the ground at the end of the table on the far side, you see a skeleton that kind of lays on the ground, its hands outstretched and kind of like resting on a book. Wesley, as you walk in, standing right directly next to you is the chitin kind of thing. Red, are you okay up there? I'm just gonna move you.
My computer's being weird.
Yeah, you were like moving all over the
Yeah.
damn place up there.
I got really slow for my.
Yeah, it's kind of a large map. So as you guys all funnel in, the red dragon kind of like hangs off in the corner, and he says, "The master will meet you." And as you guys all kind of like stand there, kind of wondering what to do next, the chitin kind of walks past you, and it has a seat at the table right here, and as it kind of walks past you, its form kind of alters and changes into that of an elvish woman.
Oh,
And as that happens, you see hop up onto the chairs 2 wolf pups. And they kind of jump up on the chair, and they kind of like put their paws on the table, and they kind of change into 2 twin little boys. And they kind of sit there at the table, kind of like looking around. And after a few seconds, you hear the thud, the thud, the thud, and kind of barreling through you guys, kind of with grace and with purpose. The saber-tooth tiger comes flying through and kind of leaps over you guys, kind of pushing his way to the. Oh my gosh, token stuck. Hang on, sorry. Pushing his way through. He's as he kind of enters his room, his front claws kind of turn into hands, and he kind of melds his way into a very large man, who kind of sits down, kind of in the middle of the table here-ish.
I still don't like this man.
So clearly, as far as age-wise, the chitin thing down here looks as though it's a kind of like an elder female elf with 2 children, and then possibly more of like a middle-aged elf, clearly a sibling possibly of the others.
so
Noticeably, though, there seem to be 2 empty chairs.
oh god.
Gee, I wonder why.
And they all kind of look around at each other and kind of look at one of the chairs, and then they look at the other chair, and they both kind of have like a more of a somber expression on their face.
Wesley.
Wesley.
What? Ooh, I don't feel good.
Hey,
Yeah.
you should feel bad.
Wesley,
What?
you
For what?
hiccup, and like a plant leaf comes out of your mouth.
Thought you were gonna say a piece of elf comes out of his mouth.
No, it's like a plant. It'd be a good idea
Piece
too.
of ale now.
Oh dear.
All of these things just kind of sit at the table, almost as if they're waiting for something.
I'll take a seat at the seat right here.
Okay. Saoirse sits here? No, here.
I will sit on top of the table, at the head of the table, because I'm the ultimate life form at this table.
I'm waiting for Brew to walk up and be like, "Get down, get."
You're getting hair in the food. Get down.
You're getting into the
Think
jam.
about
You're getting into the
I
jam.
will once again try
Put him
to dodge.
You can roll a dexterity saving throw.
What do you want me to roll to just grab him and put him
Roll
up?
what would be like a grapple. So roll like a grapple. So what is that? Like your strength, I guess? Yeah.
I thought it was
Or
athletics.
athletics. Yeah, athletics. Or an unarmed strike. It's the same thing, I think, right?
Just punch the cat.
Bad cat! Smack! Like, no, we do not
I'm
condone
KO'd.
animal cruelty. Okay.
He
I am
done.
KO'd. I'm done.
That's it. That's double his health. You killed the cat. No, you're not dead. It was an
It's a repeat of the
unharming.
whole last
But he does successfully kind of like shoo you off the table, whether it's from your own fruition, your own like fine, whatever, or he forcefully does it. One or the other.
To spite him, I'm going to climb on his back and then try to get on top of his head.
And does a unarmed flurry? No.
Flurry of
What?
blows?
What are you
Oh,
doing?
you want me to attack?
Oh, don't. Okay. I mean, if you guys want to, go ahead.
Just kidding.
Let's see. It wants me to
Fluffy
do
it off.
soft paw attack.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
Even though I
softball
don't care.
attack. Yeah.
As he
Me-
just caresses him.
He'll let you sit on
Well,
his back.
that's a very large ghost.
The
Yeah.
ghost of Christmas past.
Ghost Christmas future.
Or just
Ghost
our
of your sins for killing his plants.
Sebas, you sitting down or no?
I'm waiting until someone, like, they all sit.
Okay. So everyone at the table kind of sits. And they all kind of look at you.
I'm just waiting until this guy sits. I mean, presumably, like, they all get a seat, but seeing as the previous 2 seats are now gone.
And right as you sit down at the end of the table, this like white like outline of a man kind of appears. This like ghostly apparition kind of appears sitting at the table and begins almost as if he's been there the whole time, picking up food and kind of giving it to his children, and the woman kind of like, you know, kind of passing food and making sure the kids have their food, and the large man reaching across the table picks up like a piece of meat and puts it on his thing, and they all kind of like go to put food in front of the empty chairs, and they all stop. And they kind of like pull back and they kind of look and they realize that they're not there. The 2 missing people at this table. The man at the end of the table looks up and he says in like in a voice that kind of echoes from everywhere. He just says, "Welcome. Welcome. What has brought you here today?"
Well, some food of ours went missing, but that mystery seems to have been solved. So, currently it's curiosity. Can I ask your name?
He says his name, Sir Enolf.
Oh,
Pleasure to meet you. And who are you?
my name is Saoirse Morin. And we are from a caravan from the south. We are investigating.
A caravan from the south. Well, what are you doing way up here? Are you part of the scouting group for the building of the town?
Oh, wait, are we building a town?
We're building an outpost, but I
Yes, that's who we are.
Oh, that's lovely. I am glad. Finally, which town will you be working on?
I actually do not know. Currently, we are stationed at an outpost near the gap.
Ah, Winter's Might. I didn't know that was constructed.
Yes. I didn't know we'd named it.
They must be ahead of schedule then. I know half has been built and burned down and built and burned down again, but it's good to see that the slowly coming together there. He kind of like passes food to like his children, and the children kind of turn and pass the food to you, Saoirse. And you do see that it's like, I mean, it looks like the food that would be served at the at this feast.
So she takes a little bit because she can't help it, and passes it along down. Out of curiosity, how did you get here and into your present shapes?
And he looks around. He says, "I do not understand what you mean. We have been here." Hello, kitty. And as his hand reaches out and he pets the cat, Mr. Fluffy Paws, you feel as though like you feel a chill. You feel like almost as if everything went silent as his hand kind of like passes through you.
I fluff up, I hiss, and I jump off the table.
The dragon just kind of eyes you as like you do this, just not like in an angry or insulting or, you know, challenging way, just more like just kind of watching you. And I'm sorry, what was you asked how they got here, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, I've only recently gotten here. We've decided to build this lovely home, you know, just off the path. I I was part of one of the original mage groups that came up here to investigate and make sure, well, and to find out if the rumors of the magic of the North were true. And, well, son of a gun, they are. They absolutely are. So,
Oh
we are-
dear.
did my wife invite you over? Are you friends?
Oh. Okay. Do I need a history check for this? Because she's well versed on the history of the North and original account. What survived?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really... You would clearly understand that, well, for one, the town of Half has not been rebuilt yet. Winter's Might was a former outpost that the military used way back in some of the original wars. That outpost dates back to one of the original military encampments that was built in the north, even 500 years before the 400-year-ago war with the undead. So that outpost hasn't existed in an awful long time. Also, you guys didn't find any cabins or anything during your travel.
Okay. Serge's jaw drops open for about a solid 20 seconds before she collects herself. Because it is an absolute honor to speak with you. Oh, I don't even know what to ask. She takes out her notebook. So, tell me more about yourself. Where did you come from?
Oh, I am from the south. I am with the elves of the Gold Coast.
She writes elves of the Gold Coast.
You would already know that the elves of... Oh my god, my roll 20 just broke.
Yeah.
They all died a long time ago.
Yeah.
This is all going on in common, right?
He's been talking in common, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to turn my roll 20 back on. There we go. Okay. The elves of the Gold Coast haven't existed for almost 1,000 years. Well, 400 years ago, plus the previous 300 or 400 years. They mysteriously vanished.
Would that have happened before or after? Well, it would have happened afterwards, because...
No, they vanished long before the Wars of the Undead.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
So,
only
when you were
strange.
coming here, did everyone leave?
And before he answers, what is Mr. Fluffy Paws doing?
I wanted to try to ride the dragon.
The dragon allows you to kind of just climb up on it. It doesn't really react. It actually, right when you get close enough to it, it turns and looks at its master. And you see like a hand just kind of like, almost like stay. Like it's, easy. Clearly this master is in charge of this dragon. So as you climb up onto it, it just kind of like watches you precariously and, climb up onto its scaly back.
Is it warm?
It is ice cold.
Okay, I jump off. I like to sniff the skeleton.
All right, before we do that, Cersei, sorry, what was the last thing you asked? Or is there anything else anyone else wants to say or do?
Excuse me. Bruce sort of raises his hand.
They all he just looks up at you, and the wife kind of like chuckles as she eats her food.
I'm assuming, based on the tracks that we were following and everything, that it was the dragon that took everything, right?
Yes, that became very, very obvious to you. Yep.
He points to the dragon. I think he took some of our food. We'd kind of need that for people making dinner
Okay.
for.
I have a question about the feast thing. Are there... Can you elaborate a little more on sort of the traditions involved? Because I remember there being lanterns to ward away evil spirits.
And he hears like both of your questions, kind of like one after another, almost like interrupting a little bit, and he And he looks at Brew and he says, "Nonsense. My wife prepared this fine feast the same way she does every year. It is the one thing that brings us together as a family." And then he looks over at Cersei. He says, "Yes, the lighting of the candles. It is a symbol of the way, and a way to get to, oh my gosh, I just got tongue-tied. A way to ward off the evil spirits, to allow the lightened ones to come forward."
Yes, Brew. These feasts and this food is very important for calming wayward spirits. And we are delighted to be here. Thank you for inviting us again.
We are?
Yes, we are.
Ugh, what the fuck exploded in my face?
Oh, God.
You guys see a plant like growing out of his nose, like just kind of like hanging out of his nose.
What the fuck?
We might need to hurry back and deal with that.
Yeah, that's going to be a priority. So, oh, there are just so many questions. Do you know when you left the Gold Coast? Was it how many of you left? Was it all of you?
Well, we numbered in the thousands. We had members in the king's court working with, well, the king himself. There's no way all of us could have came. No, me and my family and a few other good friends. You know, he's in a house a couple whatever unit of measurement they would use. A couple miles down, they built a lovely cabin. But just a few of us.
Okay. And Saoirse pulls out her partially drawn map. Is there any chance you can point out where your cabin and his cabin are located on this map?
And he looks at your map for like briefly, and he goes, "What? That is not an accurate map. You are missing quite
It's
a few
very
landmarks."
It is very roughly sketched. I would be delighted if you could fill any details in.
Oh, I think maybe another time. Like he looks over at his wife, who's like almost looking at him like we're eating, like, you know, business can wait, kind of, you know, that kind of thing. He's like, "Well, maybe after the meal. I'll be glad to take a look at it in my study."
Okay, that sounds excellent.
And real quick, Mr. Fluffy Paws, you're investigating the skeleton?
Yes.
It seems to be completely and totally, I mean, it's decayed, but I mean, it's almost perfectly preserved. It has clearly been, I assume Brew's not eating it. He's probably just like taking it to bring back.
No,
I'm
no,
not
he's
eating my
eating
stuff.
it.
Oh, is he eating
He's
it?
eating
Okay.
it and then putting some of it away.
All right.
How do you do that?
What was that?
You type like that.
I think it's /E, right? For emote, I think.
/EM.
/EM. Yep. So /EM, then a space, and then whatever you want him to do. Okay.
Okay.
But the skeleton, yeah. So it's like clothing are all rotted away. I mean, this thing has been here for a long time, but the bones are almost preserved and from like the dust falling from the cave, and clearly this guard drake has been maintaining around it. And as you look at its hand, it seems to be holding a strange pen or strange inkwell that is long dried up, but it's still holding it. And it looks as though it was finishing writing in this book that lays in front of it.
Yeah, I don't care about what's written in there. Does it have anything on the skeleton?
Looking it over, I mean, you see like some remains of like maybe a wand that used to exist. Some like rotted, petrified wood that seems to be like at its hip. Like it was connected to a leather belt at some point, but obviously the belt has since been rotted away. But other than that, that's all you could really see. It looks to be a skeleton.
Can I chew on this pen?
Do not chew on that pen.
I mean-
You don't even see me, do you?
Are you taking the
You
pen?
wanna-
No,
I'd
I
like
just want to
roll
chew
a
on it.
perception check.
Hang on. So the kitty goes to roll to chew on the pen, and the dragon immediately, its foot, just sets it down between you and the pen. The dragon just kind of stares at you.
Beady
I
eyes.
will-
Look at the pen.
I will meet its gaze and have a staring contest with it. Cats are good at this.
So you stare, and the dragon stares, and we'll come back to the result of the staring contest in a moment. Cersei, what were you doing now? You probably all heard the dragon shift suddenly as well. I mean, it's a large creature, so.
Saoirse's gonna ask a bunch of invasive questions about how they lived and what style their house was in and what sort of things they brought with them. Questions that everyone else is not interested in the answers to.
Some of the highlights of all those questions, or anytime you say, well, what was the style of your home? What he says things like, what do you mean? Take a look. We built this, off the successes of our business and our empire. And but he kind of like, every time you give like a past tense, he almost corrects you. Like, what are you? Are you mad? Like that you can see it. This table's made out of. He kind of like always talks about all the great things and that he has currently, and his lovely 2 children, and his his lovely wife, and all these different things.
Saoirse corrects herself after he says that and apologizes and says that she's an archaeologist. She's used to talking in the past tense and pay it no mind.
And he I'm sure he would actually trade back and forth like questions and with you even about history and things like that. But while that conversation's going on, is there anything anybody else is doing?
Sneaking food.
Big Red is just sitting there listening to Saoirse.
Getting back to the staring contest. Go ahead and roll a constitution check. Oh wow, all of my pages crashed. Hang on.
I am such a great cat. I can crash all of his pages. Just want to point that out.
I just can't look away from that gif.
Do I need to post the other cat that Shady's character reminds me of?
Please do.
I think everyone wants my cat to die.
We
No.
don't want your cat to die. We want it to be hilarious when it does.
It's an awesome picture, by the way.
That's what I was looking for. That's what it was.
What the fuck is
That's what I picture Shady cat to be like.
I can't play the sound right now because I don't want it to get copyrighted on YouTube later. But I'm gonna watch that later. Okay, but as they stare, like that, literally like those cats, like just staring, and the dragon just stares, and a bunch of time goes on. And any of you who were, oh, my push talk isn't working. The cats stare at each other, just ongoing, constantly staring and trying to figure out like who's gonna win this battle. Neither of them blink, and they remain motionless, glaring at each other.
I like to say in cat that I am the superior being.
Oh, dear
The
God.
dragon just continues to stare.
The dragon eats the cat.
And after enough time goes by, you guys realize that the meal is over. All the food has been eaten.
Oh,
The
Or
children,
stuffed in Bruce.
like one of the children like tackles the other one. They both kind of fall off the chair, just kind of wrestling with each other, these 2 twin boys. And the mother stands up and says, "Oh my, we have company, Bob, and the
it's okay.
Go ahead.
Crazy hypothetical question for all of you. Say you Because as an archaeologist, I like to think about legacies. If we were 600 years in the future, everything's changed. There's not too much left. There was some sort of incident. Is there anything you'd like to leave behind? Just a hypothetical question. My answer is always that I'd like one of my papers to survive.
Oh, well, if that's, I haven't thought that far into the future. Being, elvish, we are born with a, and I won't get in. My wife doesn't like it when I talk so proudly of our heritage. She thinks I'm bragging, and he kind of like winks at you, but he does anyway, kind of thing. And he says, "Well, obviously, it would have to be my my book, where I keep all my notes. That keeps track of, well, everything that makes our family so successful."
That sounds excellent. What does your book look like?
Oh, and as he goes to speak, he kind of his words almost fall off, almost like they're you see his mouth going, but the words kind of go away. And as you're saying this, the large burly-haired elvish man, he reaches over and grabs a dinner roll, it's like a cinnamon swirl dinner roll that is specially baked for this winter feast, this holiday. And he reaches over and grabs the last one off the plate, and the mother kind of swats at him and says something, but you don't really hear it. And as he goes to run off, he turns back into a saber tooth and then just goes running away. After a few seconds, the two children, instead of the laughter of two children, you hear yip, 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 yip. They got two wolves, almost two puppies, just kind of going at each other. And they both sprint out of the room. And the mother gets up and she goes to chase after them. And as she does, she gets by you, Wesley, and she kind of looks at you with a I don't know, a happy to see you smirk kind of thing, slyly, as she slowly transforms back into that creature, and she runs off around the corner, chasing after her children.
Fuck is on my nose?
And you guys see this plant slowly growing out of his nose. And at that, all that's left at the table is this man, and he stands up from the table and he says, well, I mean, I guess in the future, maybe when I am long gone, I will, I'll write you and give you a copy of my wonderful memoirs. All the tales that make the Gold Coast elves just that much more special. And he says it very proudly and confidently.
I'd love to read it.
And he says, well, follow me to my den. And he kind of turns around and he just kind of disappears.
She gets up and she investigates where he went.
As you come around the corner, you see the cat and the guard, the dragon, just kind of staring at each other, not moving. And you notice the dragon has its hand in between the cat and the skeleton's arm that seems to be resting on this book.
Okay. Saoirse talks to the dragon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to retcon something. I totally forgot to say this part. As he says, he gets up and he says, follow me to my study. He turns back and he yells to his wife and he says, honey, for God's sakes, you forgot to light the floating lanterns again. And then he turns and then he disappears through the walls.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to make sure I add that part.
So Saoirse looks down at the book and then looks over at the dragon and says, is it okay if I read that?
The rest of you just hear a snarl. But to you, Saoirse, he says, do not touch my master's book. It is the only thing that brings him back.
Oh.
And he says, I will not allow anyone to break my oath.
Does he blink?
No, God,
What's your oath?
No. He doesn't even look at her. He just stares at the cat. Roll another con check. Con save.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
So as he glares down upon you, a mouse, runs by behind and like gets up and stares at you and then runs off. And like as you're focusing on the mouse, you realize you blinked. And you hear the dragon just go and then it looks over at Saoirse to continue the conversation.
Can I try to catch that mouse?
You may.
What was your vow?
Damn it!
That's
You'll never
deeply
get
funny.
one.
The cat kind of like flips you as you run by it. Like it kind of like, it lifts its paw up and like your back legs go flinging through the air. And you like a flip and land on your feet and try to chase the mouse. Okay. The dragon says, I was created and brought into this world for one purpose. To follow every one of my master's wishes. Even in death.
Did you hear our conversation at the table?
Yes, it was pleased him greatly, I would imagine.
Yes. Is there any chance he did make a copy?
He takes his hand and he holds it over to the book that's on the ground. And you see like the pages that are on are completely and totally dust covered, right? And his hand is resting in like the bottom corner of the book. Where like he was writing something. And as the dragon reaches his hand over, he takes like one of his sharp nails and he kind of turns the page back one page. And you see that almost the entire page is covered in like now it would be like a black color, but it definitely looks like blood splotches. And then he kind of slowly turns the page back and he says, I don't believe he had the chance.
What happened?
And he tells you a story about a long time ago, around when the elves were when everyone was kind of making their way north to kind of get a foothold in the mining towns and the mining operations that kind of built themselves within the north. One of his I guess you could call him best friends turned on him and cursed him and his family. And he says that as a result, the master had wrote a spell in an attempt to save himself, and he died the evening of this feast. So, and then he looks over and he says, as the children left to play and his wife chased after them, and you know his son was the first to die, the large oaf guy. And he says, this year was disappointing not to see the others, but it happens, kind of thing.
Okay. Is there any chance I can make a copy of the book and leave it here?
You can roll a persuasion check.
$15.
15 two times.
The dragon says if you're able to make a copy without touching it, you may do so.
How big is this dragon drake? I forget what you said it was.
It's considered medium. It's about as tall as you guys are, maybe a little bit taller. Maybe it's probably as tall as Brew, really. But it's also very long. I mean, it's not like as big as a dragon. Maybe like an adult dragon is probably bigger than it even. No, maybe an adult dragon or young possibly, just with no wings. It doesn't have that huge, wingspan to encompass the whole room.
Okay, so I'm killing myself that this isn't 3.5 because there is a 3.5 spell called Amanuensis, which copies non-magical texts.
Okay. Do you have any other spells that you think would be able to do something like this?
Actually, yes, prestidigitation can create a puff of wind, so I could turn the pages like that.
Mm-hmm.
So as you do that for the first time, the dragon just kind of watches, making sure that you don't actually touch the book.
Okay, Saoirse would like to make as detailed a copy of the book as she can.
This takes some time. How much time are you going to spend making these copies, and how it will determine how much you actually get out of it.
Saoirse has, at this point, lost track of all other priorities. So,
Wesley sneezes and like a seed comes out that quickly grows into an apple.
if no one stops her, she will keep doing this for the next, basically 12 hours.
Where
stay
are
with her.
these lanterns that he wanted lit? Do we see them around?
You don't see any. You roll perception perception check if you'd like to try and figure out what's going on.
I think
I
I'm gonna
guess.
sit back down. I don't feel good. I'm gonna go to sleep.
As he puts his head down, you see
Okay.
like the roots of his hair starting to like turn green.
Okay, that's enough sitting for me. We need to take Wesley back. Someone get Sasha.
I'll stay with you. You guys go
Sasha,
ahead and
get
go
as
back.
much as you can.
Okay.
Just
Hang on.
okay.
All right, and then Mr. Fluffy Paws, as you kind of look around for these candles, you realize that the roof of this cave, like for a moment, resembles the rafters of a home. And as you kind of look in certain spots of this room, you realize that like at times it almost appears to be like a nice dining hall, indicating that the hallway to the north would have been to a different area of the house. So you don't see
Can I
any floating candles.
Can I figure out where this so-called study should be?
It should actually be to the south, but the door seemed like there's a door. You see a door, but it's locked and it's closed. But you don't know it's locked. You can't physically touch it.
I can't physically touch a door.
Well, it's not actually there. Like it appears like in the peripherals of your vision. Then when you look at it, it's not there anymore. That kind of thing.
Can I walk sideways into said door?
No, it vanishes when you get close enough to it.
I will paw at it and then I will turn back at the dragon.
The dragon says to Saoirse, "Your cat appears to be investigating. Tell it that it will find nothing of use."
It's a cat. And it's not my cat.
And it stares at Saoirse and looks over at the cat and looks back at Saoirse, and then the dragon says, "That cat is more than meets the eye."
Well, I mean, yes, it keeps following us, and it's actually really weirdly good at attacking things. What is it?
It's a cat.
Well, yes, but if it's more than meets the eye, it means it's more than just a cat.
Its thoughts mirror those of yours. Well, not mirror,
Well,
wrong word. Hang on, he wouldn't say mirror. That would imply that he's the same as you. His thoughts, are aware.
Are
He's aware.
recorded?
He's aware. Yeah, he's aware. The cat is aware, the same as you and I are, it says.
What?
And it says,
And-
perhaps another conversation for another day.
Saoirse looks over at the cat.
And then Zabas and Wesley, you're kind of helping Wesley out.
Yeah.
What?
Come
Hold
on.
on. Let me sleep. I'm tired.
No, you're not allowed to sleep. You need to get up when you go.
Fuck you. I'm trying to sleep.
Can I try to dig through this wall?
Sure. You can roll a strength check.
Anything but strength, please.
Gotta be
Can I
strength.
use dexterity since I'm a monk?
Yeah, you know, go ahead. Roll it. Yeah, you go to scratch through and you accidentally do a backflip off the wall. Your ninja skills took hold of you as you were doing this pawing, and it was just like a natural instinct. You just like backflip off the wall.
He's just styling on us by accident.
The cat's just trying to figure out how to get through this wall.
I mean,
Everyone
there's
else
another
is.
path over here.
Brew is gonna walk up to the dragon. Excuse me. Where did you make all this anyway?
It just snarls something in a language you don't understand.
I don't speak snarl.
What did it say?
It said, what did it say?
Wait, there's someone else here who speaks Draconic, isn't there?
I think Zabas and
Yep.
Wesley are leaving. But maybe
Ah.
maybe Zabas heard this, but up to him. I don't know how far gone he's is right now.
You'd asked what you asked. What did you ask again?
Where it made all of this? And he motions to all the food on the table.
Okay,
Because I
Susha-
didn't see a kitchen coming in.
Susha, clearly half-assing this to focus on the book, says the big one wants to know where you made all of this, and she gestures vaguely at the table.
Well, the cooks, of course.
He says the cooks did it.
What cooks?
And the dragon kind of like looks
What
around
cooks?
the room, and then it says, "It is time. You must go." The dragon kind of stands up tall, and it says, something like, "Thank you for coming. Clearly your hearts are in the right spot." And it looks over at Wesley, and it says, "For the most part."
How far did I get through the book?
I have a key points that you will have discovered, and I'll give you all of those at some point here. But
Okay.
there are things you didn't get to. Some pages that, oh my god, like that page, but I'm gonna skip that page and come back to that one for the next page, and yeah, but you never made it back to get those pages, kind of thing.
Damn
So, well, I'll let you know exactly what you discovered in his book.
it. Okay. Before we leave, he mentioned something about the lights. Are there any candles we can light? I would like to do that if possible.
And the dragon says, as it like stands up and is trying to like move you guys to the door, kind of thing. It says, "There's a reason we don't light the candles in this home."
Oh, yes.
Don't want to sing. Come on.
Have you heard the
Okay.
meaning of why the candles are lit? And it says to you,
Keeps the spirits away.
Yes. I see. The children, are they okay? Do they stay as wolves all the time?
So I'm gonna imagine, as long as you're okay with this, that you ask these questions while you guys are kind of walking kind of out.
Yes, while
Okay.
being shoot out.
So you don't have to move your tokens, but I'll describe it as you guys are kind of walking. So as you kind of turn the corner back the way you came, though, you start seeing like glimpses of other spirits cooking. This is actually like a little cooking area that's kind of connected off to the dining area. And you're starting to realize that as you're walking through this cave, it's kind of laid out a little bit like a house almost. Like you're finding like the living area, the study. You see like stairs that lead to an upper portion that are connected to like the middle part of the cave where you went around in a circle, you know? That's like an upstairs area that you guys didn't actually explore yet. You get to like the spot where the children would be up in that tent. But one of the horrible things about your way out is you begin to hear the sounds. So as you kind of as you go to leave like this dining area, you hear Enoff in a more of like an elvish style of a voice, a more realistic scream and yell in agony and in pain. And as you kind of work your way through, you hear the shrieks of the wife almost being attacked by something. As you get to an area closer to where the large oaf, like saber-toothed tiger is, the same thing. You hear the sounds of like a rabid animal and like this battle, this fight going on, echoing through the cave. And as you get to where like the children were at, you hear the sounds of two children running in fear as wolves bark somewhere in the distance.
Oh dear.
And eventually, as you get out of the cave, you turn around and you look back, and you see almost like the facade, the front of like a like log cabin, I guess, a very beautiful log cabin, and it just kind of like fades off, and all that's left is just the entrance to this cold, dark cave. And then stand next to you still, though, the dragon kind of stands there with you guys. And I'll just put all your tokens out there, just because. And the dragon just kind of looks you guys over, and he stays in the entrance here, but
I take it that happens every year.
and he says, as I've said, my master wished it. And that is one page you did get to. One of the last things that the Enolf wrote into his book that wasn't just a hurried up spell that actually caused all of this. You realize that Enolf wrote a spell that is causing this to repeat. But within that spell, it's written the command for his created guardian, his Drake. This dragon was created out of a red dragon scale using magic, created this dragon. So you understand that this Drake is actually essentially a soulless creature created out of the scale of a fallen red dragon. And this Drake's duty is to fulfill only his master's wishes. And one of those is to relive and always be able to experience this festive time with his family uninterrupted. Because all those years ago, he was not able to on that night.
Well, I don't know what to do about this. It seems like something that, I guess respect dying wishes. It's the watchword here.
And the Drake kind of nods at you.
Okay. I can, on my map, if you'd like, I can mark this area as unsafe.
The Drake kind of nods again. Kind of like, that would be wonderful.
Okay. I'll do that. This area is hazardous. Thank you for letting me look at the book.
The Drake says, the Drake actually hands you like a clear vial, Wesley. And says, drink this.
Oh, okay. I'll drink it.
And you drink it, and it's basically just water. And kind of as you drink it, you realize like there's nothing wrong with you. And almost all of you at the same time get this realization that like you never actually saw anything. You thought you were seeing these things happen to him. Like as you think about it, like when he puked and thought something was coming out of his nose, like you don't ever remember actually seeing anything. It was more just like an expectation based on the exploding of the pod things.
So did I take any damage?
No, you did not.
Oh.
Yeah, you realize like you're fine as you kind of like look yourself over.
Yeah, I don't want to come back here.
I think everyone would be better off if this is an explored but dangerous area on the map.
The Drake does say,
I definitely want to come back.
yeah, the Drake does say, but what I expect visitors every time the festivity arrives, as I have tonight.
You take the stuff from my camp. Yes, no, maybe. Be more discreet about your tracks, though.
Yes, we can try to. I'll try and work something out with regards to that.
It would be lovely. And if there's any help you need in return, I would be glad to be of assistance. Where my master's wishes were that to always honor this and more than a few other items, and I still have some freedom.
Well, if we ever need your assistance, we will come back and speak to you.
And the dragon nods. And it looks over at Wesley and it says, Maybe next time you do not attack that which is undefended.
Sure. Never
at
met a
that-
dragon with no wings before.
The Drake clearly takes insult to this. He turns back at you and he says, I can't think of anything witty. Damn it, I lost it. The Drake says something like, you know, it has been a while since I have eaten human. And then the Drake just kind of like turns and kind of like saunters back into the cave.
I bet dragons taste lovely. Okay.
He was questioning something similar.
If that was a dragon.
More of a magical construct.
I see.
Pretty sure it could still eat you, though.
I think we could take them.
Anyhow, you know, weirdly enough, that was strangely festive.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
Yes. Weirdly enough, yes.
I'm just glad I'm not dying anymore.
yes, that is good, because I had no way of fixing that. You would have
Yeah.
died. It would have been unfortunate.
Yeah. Very painful death.
How so?
Well,
Well,
I
go
believe
ahead.
it suffocates you with leaves.
Oh.
And then you die.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then it
you're
grows out of
aware.
you. But I'm not sure if it waits until you're dead to do that.
No. It makes you to a zombie, basically. It makes you keenly aware of your surroundings, but your body slowly transforms like an undead. As you're aware of all your senses, but unable to do anything. It's sort of like some parasitic species, or some with target ants.
I have no idea what those are, but
I read it in a book one time.
botany is not really my area of expertise, but probably would have been painful.
Very.
If that ever happens to me, just kill me, please.
From a distance. From a distance.
From a distance.
Okay.
From a distance.
So, I think. Now, here's a real question. How much food did you manage to siphon off?
I don't know, Max. How much food did I manage to siphon off?
You got like picture like leaving like, you know, a family Christmas event or holiday event where like you got like some Tupperware, right? To like bring the leftovers with you or something. We'll say you got like enough food for like 7 people to take one meal back. So you really didn't get all that much at all. Like you stuffed
Making
in
off like a family at a buffet.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like you stuffed a whole bunch of like large food containers with like bacon and food, and then like ran out.
Well,
You got
at
some
least
of
we
it.
got something. At least it's better than saying the wolves ate it all.
Well, yes, but we got more than something. We got a primary document from hundreds of years before. This, you don't understand how rare this is.
Incredibly.
Nothing like this exists. Everything. Any normal book would have been destroyed by now.
Some.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yes. It very much is. Anyway, considering everything we have here is done, let's talk about this on the way back.
Oh, yes, that's probably a good idea. I need to reread my notes. And Saoirse goes flipping through her journal while they walk.
Interesting.
Chong, ching, chong, tong, ching, chong.
So as you guys make your way back to I call it the town, your camp, rather, it is essentially getting to be nearly the middle of the night. As you approach the wall, you see only a few soldiers, guards kind of up on top, keeping guard, as most of the town you hear music being played, guitars, fiddles, whatever kind of instruments the non-bards kind of like dabble with. Clearly the celebration has begun long ago as you guys just arrive back. Mostly cold, probably frostbitten. During your walk over to this cave, you don't smell nearly as bad though. Oddly, you smell as though you were at a wonderful feast in a beautiful like log cabin home amongst a massive hearth. You realize that you feel as though you were at a festive party with family and friends as you kind of arrive back with the food that Brew has in his pockets.
The North is fucking weird.
Yes, it very much is.
The North is fascinating.
I'm going to bed. I've had enough of today.
Get your
But-
rest.
But we just
Right
got the
now?
food back.
Just go and pass out in one of their tents.
As you walk in, you look up at the candle. It glows like with just enough to indicate that the next day is almost upon you. The rest of you guys, like the remaining guards, oh, they're back. Did they bring the food? Do you have any food? Brew, where's the food? Are you cooking for us?
We were able to recover some of it. Unfortunately, a lot of it was ruined, but
And it's almost as if they don't care. They jump up and they run over and they just like, what do you got? Like if they all want to share with each other, and one grabs one of those like cinnamon roll things that they make and runs it over to Cersei and hands it to her, and same with Zabos, and someone like just kind of throws a wrapped piece of meat down next to Wesley in his tent just because like, here, you have some too, Even if he's already sound asleep, they just like for the morning, they throw it down next to him in the tent.
Yeah, he's out cold.
Yeah, none of them seem to care. Like as Cersei tries to describe like this event, like, oh my gosh, the food was it's taken, they're not even listening. They're just more excited to continue drinking their festive ale that was not taken and eat the food that was remained.
well, that's
Wow.
Saoirse tries to come up with something to write on the map that would discourage people from going there, but
Draw a dragon.
that's true. But people might see that as something that needs to be taken care of.
With a group around there. Not for now.
That's true. Okay. As the night winds down, because this is Saoirse goes rummaging through her bag and takes out a flute and plays a song.
Yeah, a good group of the guards. Oh, go ahead, Brew. Or Bobby, Red.
I take out my drums and play with her.
Not persuasion, performance. It's the same score.
Oh yeah, just go with the 15's fine. Yeah, you play beautifully, and actually some of the others stop playing their instruments and kind of like come over to listen to you play. And after a little while, one of the guard captains yells out, "Everyone to bed! The candles are nearly finished!" And everyone kind of looks around at the candles, and you see that they're down to their last part of the wick as they kind of float precariously in the air. And, obviously it's customary that everyone needs to be in bed before the end of the evening. A few of the guards, they'll stay awake as some change shifts, and a couple stay up on the walls, of course, to keep an eye on things. They understand their duty.
Brew will turn in once everything is cleaned up and taken care of.
And performing another night of duty, getting the grounds cleaned up, more solidified, getting the clay bricks that like he is starting to work on now. He's gonna turn in them.
I will try to find the softest, warmest place to fall asleep. Even if it is on top of Brew's face.
I don't know why I wear a lot of fur.
Fur tends to be warm.
And
Yeah.
Wesley is also in the larger tent, it looks like, which would imply more cloth.
I
I
am
am
Wesley.
nothing but fur.
When he wakes up, he's just gonna have me plopped right on his face.
Is there anything anyone else is doing before they go to bed?
I don't think so.
Actually, can I go for a hunt really quick?
You will
Try to find like a mouse or
not,
something?
You will not be asleep before the candles burn out.
Fine. I'll go to sleep.
That's your choice.
I'll go to sleep.
All right.
See what's all the hubbub is about.
Well, I had you guys decide what items you wanted, right? So let's see what you actually get. So as the night wears on, I mean, yes, you guys were tired from your adventure. You know, yes, it was definitely a long walk. But unfortunately, well, fortunately rather, you guys feel as though I put it in the North chat. PM me something your character would have wanted from the spirit harvest that is said to bring these gifts. Though the understanding is that not everybody always gets a gift. So let's see what you guys actually end up with. So you guys essentially pass out. I mean, you guys feel like you've gotten the best night of your lives as far as sleep wise. And kind of like sporadically throughout the night, as you guys kind of like roll over to be more comfortable, to be, you know, get more accustomed to your sleep here. We'll start with Brew. You kind of roll over and you feel something kind of like hard underneath like your blanket. You know, and first you don't. Yeah. First you don't know what it is, and you kind of wake up and you move the blanket back, and there sits a small box. And it's essentially a beautifully carved wooden box. And as you open it up, there's a little like thing inside of it that describes exactly what it is. And anything you put in this box, doesn't matter what it is, it will keep it at the optimal temperature, condition, and safe from all other environmental hazards. And you could put anything in it that's about the size of like your fist. You have a pretty large hand, so like, you know, a couple apples or you know what I mean, like something like that.
I have a refrigerator.
The world's tiniest refrigerator.
This item, as long as you carry it on you, will also give you +1 to any cooking checks you make, or like food checks, I guess you could say.
What
Well.
do you want me to call this?
You can
Cooks.
name it, man. Name it, or you guys help him name it. I don't care what you call it.
Cook's utensils checks.
Oh wait, what is the
Well, he wants to name the actual item. Like, what is the item called?
what is the name of that official spice pouch item? Havard's handy spice pouch. It should be like Havard's handy cool box.
Yeah, there you go. It's Hubbard's handy cool
Brew's
box.
Brew. Brew's Brew. That's it.
Brew
Brew's Brew.
version. Okay.
Brew's frigid box.
Moving on from there. Saoirse, you are sound asleep. Hang on. Okay. Oh yeah. I wanted to ask you about yours. Okay, so I didn't know if I told you guys the story of the original theory of how all of creation occurred. Is that the story you're talking about? Or are you talking about a different story?
I forgot what I said.
A first-person account of the fall from the dragon's side.
Oh,
a fall of the dark dragons. You mean the black dragons?
yes. So
Okay.
because we have the war from our perspective, but not from theirs.
Yes. Okay. I was sure because there's also a story of the first scale that fell that created all of life within like the world, or what's believed to have been all of creation. So I didn't know if you meant that story, or if you meant something else. But okay. Okay. So now I
Give
understand.
her a dragon die.
Yeah.
She wakes up and there's a dragon wormling in her bed.
And it looks at you and it says, "Sit down. We have much to discuss." No.
That's fabulous.
You wake up and like your hand like kind of immediately goes to like your pens and your quills and your papers and their stacks and it's like a habit, right? You just want to make sure they're still there. Like everything's good, everything's packed up, and your hand falls to a spot and there's this like a random piece of loose leaf paper, not part of the stack. It's not in its like proper container. It's not where it's supposed to be. And you kind of open your eyes. Yeah, you open your eyes and you grab it and you look at it. And on it, in the top right corner, is a massive symbol representing the Black Dragon Flight. And it's a map, a detailed map of the entire area leading to a location of some sort. Though you don't know what the location is.
My God.
But it looks to be a handwritten note from possibly like a general or somebody within the Black Dragon Flight to somebody else, indicating some information.
Oh my God. Okay, so she very carefully folds that and secures it within her book. And
As you roll it up and kind of like put it in where it needs to be, a little green kind of like, I guess, smoke kind of just like kind of wafts out of like the page. Very faint, very hard to like really even notice, but you do notice that this green kind of appear.
okay, she opens it back up.
Well, there's nothing there. It was just from being put away.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's what I got.
Yes, Wesley,
Ah,
you you passed out.
yeah.
And you roll over and your face rolls into the food they put on the ground next to you, and you kind of like open your eyes and realize that somebody gave you some food. Nothing gets on you. It's all wrapped up still or whatever, but like you realize that you have food for the morning. So you go to put it down and you look over and there's this mug, this like decanter that's sitting in the corner of your tent.
What the fuck is this?
And you pick it up and it's definitely filled. It's filled to the
Give
brim.
it a sniff.
It smells like the most delicious rum you've ever had.
Oh shit! I'll drink probably the whole mug.
The moment you drink it, it is the most delicious rum. It almost as if it fills itself back up. But the moment you drink it, you are hit with the worst hangover you've ever experienced in your life. In the moment you drink it,
it's worth it.
but it
Back to
tastes amazing.
What do I call this?
The cancer of instant hangover.
So that could be what you maybe call it, but the
No.
item looks as though it was
The
crafted.
cancer of forever hanging.
There you go. Well, that's even better. It looks
So-
as though it was crafted in the depths of
It
like
fills itself back up.
Oh, my push to talk button wasn't working again. Yes, so I like that name, by the way. I don't think that came through. That's an awesome name, the Cantor Forever Hanging. That could be what you guys call it, but as far as its official name, you're not sure because it's engraved with dwarven runes all around it, and it looks as though it was probably forged in the deep, darkest pits of like some dwarven kingdom somewhere. But yes, it did fill itself back up.
Dwarves know how to make the rum. I'll keep drinking it.
You don't get very far where eventually you just pass out completely from drinking it.
That's just poison.
All right, and then
Dwarves.
okay, and then moving on to Zabas.
How do you add items to your inventory with this character sheet?
Yeah, I don't really remember.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just put it into your. Let's see here.
Yeah, there's like an
Your miscellaneous notes.
yeah. You can put it in there. No, click add. Well, that's it's what yeah.
Oh.
At the bottom right
Yeah,
there,
the
yeah. You
pencil.
can just type out. It doesn't have to be an attack. It can be an item.
Forgot about the pencil.
Yep. Okay. I was having trouble with Zabos's.
Hmm.
We're gonna come back to that one.
It's vague.
Yeah, but I think I have some ideas. Conceal. Okay. Oh Jesus, two of your guys are a little bit. Okay, let's go to red. 'Cause I can do reds. Red, you roll over, and you hear a crunch. Sounded like glass breaking.
Good job. Good job.
as you wake up and you pick them up, you pick up these glasses, right? And one of the lens now are completely and totally blown out and broken. And you're like, well, whose are these? And you put it on. And it's weird because like one of your eyes you can see into the darkness perfectly clear, but your other eye is completely normal. When you have both eyes open, you're only able to see a certain distance. But when you close one of your eyes, you're able to see perfectly either in the regular vision or dark vision. The problem with keeping one eye closed is you're a little bit easier to hit. So you'll be affected when attacks are coming against you if you are using your dark vision, if you're using these glasses. But they will allow you to see in the dark. Okay, so going back to the magical knowledge. Okay, Zabos.
Yes.
You're awakened. And you hear a voice kind of in the darkness. Hello. And you kind of like look around a little bit. And you see like this like beady yellow eye kind of staring at you. Kind of like almost in between like the flaps of like the tent. And he just goes, shh. And he slides a scroll through the tent. And he lets it go. And it just drops in front of you. And then you hear like footsteps, like, and you hear something climb and then like jump off and run out. And you reach down and you grab the scroll and you open it up and it's completely blank. But as you're staring at it, trying to figure out what's going on, a word slowly starts to write itself, like at the top, like a large cursive letter kind of starts to appear. And the more you look at it, it's incredibly slow. It takes like hours for like one letter to kind of slowly cursive its way onto the paper. Give you the indication that this needs to be studied. This needs to be examined before you can pull out this ancient knowledge that you seek.
Perfect. I'm an elf. This can take thousands of years and I'll still be fine. So bring it on.
That's all the time in the world. All right, Mr. Fluffy Paws. You get a little piece of paper that just like gets batted in front of you, and it just goes, it just like bats in front of you, and you wake up and you swat at it. Oh my god! And you stop, and you're like, "Oh wait, who did that?" And as you unfold the paper, it says, "You should meow more."
I can't read.
Oh, it just says meow.
I can't read that.
Damn it! Hang on, let me think of something else. Okay, better idea. Better idea.
On your ear.
Just make it smell like a cat's butthole.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, his thing is anything to like be more like a cat, basically, to appear like a cat. You're what class are you again? You're a monk, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Oh, I got it. There sits before you a bow tie.
I'll sniff it.
It smells as though it will do what you ask. It's almost like it speaks to you to be put on,
Yes.
to have a collar.
The question is, how can I get this thing on?
Oh, it's like it doesn't need to be buckled. You can just put your head through it. Like it just kind of like easily goes over your head.
Okay, I guess I will.
As soon as you do
I
that,
now have a bow tie.
you now wear a bow
What color
tie.
bow tie?
It can be whatever color
Is
you
it
want
blue
it to
bow
be.
tie?
You know what? It changes colors based on your mood. Red being angry,
I like
blue
that.
being happy, purple being sad. The classic kind of like color scheme. You could pick when it changes colors.
Okay.
But as you wear it, you feel as though you're more stealthy, more in tune with your cat side. So on checks for people to discover whether you're just a regular cat or not a regular cat, you will impose disadvantage on that person or that thing that's trying to discover if you are in fact mundane or something special. As long as you are wearing your collar.
You know what? I'm gonna roll a Arcana check because I know certain spells like Awaken. I'm a lore master, so let's see how it works.
A dragon told me.
Dragon told you he's special. Who am I? I'm missing one still, aren't I?
A dragon told me he thinks like us.
He is a completely average
Oh, I
cat
did everybody.
in every single way, shape, and form.
I think pretty much every one of your intelligence rolls, which are made at expertise now, are just haven't been very good, have they?
No, it's just Arcana checks. History, religion, they're perfect. Arcana checks, 8s, 10s, 12.
So there you go. You have all received wonderful gifts for your jobs. Those of you who did better in the sense of handling the situations in a more festive way received better items, I guess you could say. Unfortunately for like Wesley, his has kind of a little bit of a negative indication to it, although it is exactly what he wanted.
Do I get anything stat wise when I drink that?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, those of you who don't have stat bonuses currently, I'll think of some. I'll try and like make it. I tried to like think of like non-game breaking stats, to go along with your items. But like with Wesley, Cersei, Zabas, I couldn't really think of like a good stat to apply. But I'll think of one. We could talk about it even outside of the game if you guys have some ideas of what you think it should do, and we'll try and like give you something a little bit more to be have it affect you a little bit more.
Seriously, try this.
Yeah, I'm thinking of some stuff like maybe I can do some stuff. I'll
What is
tell
it?
you later.
It's I don't know, it's a mug of some super good rum I found.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess it's the season. And Saoirse takes a moderate-sized swig.
It tastes like the most delicious wine you've ever had in your life.
Ooh.
I thought you said this was rum.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. It's
What do you
wine.
mean? This is rum. And I'll take another big swig.
And as you do that, a soldier takes it out of your hand drunkenly, says, "Rum, I'll take it." He takes a drink of it and he spits it out on the floor. He's like, "That is disgusting," and he hands it back to you.
Oh, I was about to rip it back and kind of shove him.
Nope, no, he kind of like hands it back to you. This is disgusting. He just kind of spits it out and it's like, "It tastes like blood."
I'll give him like a chest shove and like, don't touch my fucking drink, you prick.
And he's just like,
Who
"Oh,
are you?"
yeah, you'll be fine." And he just kind of like saunters off and trips on
Get
the
out of
stump.
here.
He trips on that
Get
stump
here.
and hits the ground and like passes out.
Prick.
Probably check on him.
No, he's fine.
No, seriously, can I have it back for a second?
Delicious.
Does Wesley give it to her for a second?
What? What do you want?
The thing, the item.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
She takes another sip. Is it still wine?
It tastes like some other concoction, some other drink that you've never had before. It just tastes divine.
Oh, that is just. I mean, that's very good. It's odd.
Does it only give me hangovers? Shit.
No, she feels great. Like she looks great. Like she looks happy and like amazed at the results of this decanter.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking it now.
Yes. How quickly is this going to her head?
She's getting the opinion that it seems to be exactly what she wants it to be every time she takes a drink.
Huh.
Like I wanted to drink blood.
No, but he. All right. Well, I
He
guess
also-
I said I would stop being so mysterious with things. The item tends to match the person who's drinking it. So if it's taken violently and someone drinks out of it, they're not going to get what they want. They're going to get the exact opposite. Wesley wants rum. He wants that delicious rum. So that's what it is always going to be from him. That's his wish. Cersei is somebody of intelligence, of mystery and intrigue. So the item is constantly evolving for her to be more and more enthralled with it and more excited about what's next. What can she discover next?
Ooh,
Yeah,
I'm
that tracks.
curious about what it is now.
Oh, you want to sip?
Take another sip.
Sure.
Oh,
Why not?
So that Zabas took a drink?
Yep.
Ooh, I haven't thought of what kind of drink Zabas would enjoy. I feel like it'd be something mellow, something like something aromatic, but like not as overpowering. So like I feel like he would take a sip of it and it would just be like almost like a dinner wine.
Elven tea.
Yeah, yeah, even like an elven tea, something very simple that he would drink and sip on during like an evening meal or like a brunch even possibly.
That tastes like what my mother used to make. That's interesting.
I see. It's some magic shit going on here. That's
Oh,
cool.
definitely.
Alright, so I'll take that back.
And that's, if you take it back once and take another drink, it's just like instant headache. Just bam, like right in the front of your head. The only thing is with these hangovers, like they don't last that long. Like it's like 5 to 10 minutes of just excruciating headache and dry mouth, and you feel like you need water like you wouldn't believe, and it just kind of like wears itself off.
I'm used to that feeling. And if it lasts for that long, he doesn't really seem to mind too much.
But before we end the session, is there anything else you guys want to do before we wrap things up?
I sent you some stuff regarding the gift of mine.
Yes, I have a lot of
Sure.
ideas.
I will go hunt.
Seriously would like to take a closer look at that cat.
I can't hunt.
you can you cannot hunt to save your life, man.
Every survival has not been above a 5.
So like
That's why he keeps coming back to Burrito Bag.
Mr. Fluffy Paws is like currently sneaking around, like looking for that damn mouse that like seems to be elusive to him, and he thinks like, okay, nobody sees me, nobody. All of a sudden, Cersei kind of like leans over the box you're behind and goes, "Oh, I knew you were back here," and reaches down and just like picks you up and puts you on the box to examine you, like she knew you were there the whole time, because you're just not being sneaky at all.
I'm going to try to walk off the box.
Stay where you are.
I'm going to once again try to walk off the.
I didn't talk with that dragon. That concerns you. You might want to listen.
I'm going to pay it no mind, and I'm going to try to jump off the box.
She told me what you were.
Once again, trying to jump off the box.
I'd like to roll an insight check.
At disadvantage.
Yeah, it'd be a disadvantage.
Is it at
Due to the
disadvantage
special
if I
little bow
already
tie.
know?
Yeah, the item hinders. That's what it does.
That is why the bow tie's name is called the bow tie of Go F Yourself.
Don't look at me.
sure it's not Bowie?
Oh, she ruined
Okay,
it.
well, I get nothing.
She ruined it. Shady, she ruined it. You said you wanted Bowie. That's what I was thinking of when I decided to give you a bow. Oh man, that's funny. Anyway, so no, like you looking at this cat and you're like convinced that like, this cat is something more. That dragon couldn't have been wrong, right? But then the way this cat is behaving, you're like, yeah, I've never known a cat to want to sit still like that because I told it to. Like, it's acting like a cat.
It is acting like a cat, but it also doesn't act like a cat a lot of the time.
No, it's most definitely a cat.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Further study is needed.
Probably a cat though.
Shit.
Bravo. Well, I mean, it's definitely a cat. The question is it an intelligent cat?
I'd say he's smart. He looks like a smart cat. He got that twinkle in his eye.
It's more than that.
Nah, maybe. He just has a twinkle in his eye.
Anyhow. Oh, I have a I honestly didn't think the spirit of the season would really make its way this far north. But it clearly did.
I guess.
Good.
And as
Also,
you
was that
guys,
cat wearing a bow tie?
Oh, I before I go anywhere,
Yeah.
is
Weird.
is the guy who is in charge of handing out weapons around?
most of the guards are drunk and sleeping. You don't really see anybody like manning. There's like a couple guards on the walls, but even them, they clearly have their decanters of rum with them.
Is there a? Would I know where they keep the weapons and stuff like that? Like
Yeah,
the wagon?
absolutely. Yeah, this
Oh.
this camp is a lot bigger than like the screen is. It's just kind of shrunk down. So yeah, there would be like a tent or like an area that's sealed off with weapons in it.
Oh, I was gonna try and take a longbow with a couple arrows.
Well, I don't mean like sealed, like locked, but it would be like you would have to like unravel the knot and open up the tent and then walk in and grab what you want. But you could do that.
Yeah.
There's like a little sign out sheet where like you write down what you took and how many arrows and blah blah blah.
Oh, perfect. I'll take a longbow and like 30 arrows.
There you go.
Just because I realized I don't really have a good ranged alternative. I'm a fighter.
So as you guys are kind of out mulling about in the cool air of kind of like the early morning, it's still dark out. You notice up in the sky a massive shooting star, kind of slowly making its way across the sky. And it's generally thought to be good luck when a shooting star like this appears during the festive holiday on this day. It's an indication of great things to come. But like with all things in the north, there's always an extra kicker to it. So as this thing kind of like shoots across the sky, it travels and it travels and it travels, and suddenly it begins to kind of fall. And it kind of falls and falls and falls, and you realize it's going to land somewhere in the north, and almost just quicker than you can actually watch, it smashes somewhere into the well past out of your vision behind some mountains, and you, after maybe another minute or so, you feel like a rumble in the earth from this item smashing into the ground. And at that, all around you, the whole forest goes silent. There is nothing, not even the gentle, like the swaying of the trees in the ground, then just silence. Not even the snow seems to be falling around you anymore, as it all have been kind of blown kind of out of the way. And off in the distance, you hear another roar of a dragon, followed by a second roar of another dragon. And then it's at that we will end the session.
Cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I hope you guys had fun with my festive style Christmassy sort of thing. But I'm glad. I'm really glad.
I got my bow tie at just the right time.
You did.
My mind was going so hard onto that, like on that little thing. I was trying to decipher little stuff. If I was just a little bit more powerful.
A little bit
Scheme was
more.
behind it.
We didn't like level up or anything.
Nope, it would probably be in the next couple of sessions, maybe. It depends on how we.
Okay.
Dang
go
it,
about
that's
the
what I
story.
should have asked for.
To level up.
I want to level.
I want to be level 5. All right, you guys all
I
say
need 7 levels.
say so long to the stream, to all the future viewers that might be out there, and we'll stop the stream here.
Bye, stream.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.